Hello, welcome to stream. I have nothing to say. Oh, I have some news. I cooked really tasty katsudon. I really liked it. Even though eating onions before a stream makes me kind of feel weird. I should have brushed my teeth or something. I don't know. Oh well. Now I need to suffer. Hello. I'm live. I'm even just 10 minutes earlier. Also, I have a question. Okay, I don't have a question. I take it back. We're back from umineko. Aren't this exciting? I have literally nothing to talk about. Is it normal? I just can't think of anything to say. Isn't it weird that we are in the 55th stream? Written in Japanese? Goju go? Weird. Weird as fuck. Okay. I was really busy past couple of weeks, like really busy, and I'm going to be busy until the end of the month. That's so annoying. Oh well, let's just go for Minako. I started new episode. I didn't click through any of this, so we're here. Should we spoil it with characters? Actually, I already went here and look at it. Let's go again. Okay, we have Orcastel, Maria, Beato, Virgilia, Renault, Gap. Where's Butler? And Seven Sisters. Where is Lambda? The Witch of Miracles and Miko of the Witch of Theater going. In the 7th game, she contacts Beato's funeral. Met with defeat in the previous game and came out the loser. She was proclaimed that she will tear out the gods of Beato's game to satisfy her irritation, and yet... Okay. The Golden Witch, who has lived for 1,000 years. She has already surpassed the limits of humans, and it is said she will appear in response to human summons, just as demons do, to lend them her power for a price. What I have to do to deserve this? Likes black tea and ice cream, hates boredom and those who deny her existence. Eusebia Maria, a little mage who has inherited the black blood from Kinzo. She's so happy here. Unlike Kinzo, she was gifted with natural talent and began to treat the path of the mage while still young. That said, her power is still weak and she is no more than an apprentice. However, she is skilled with enchantments, which bestow magical power upon the objects, and the magical items she creates compete with those of the Messier class. So, liter reference? Virgilia, retired Endless Witch and Beatrice's master, made proper use of endless magic, and dedicated her life to the happiness and smiles of people. Taught Beatrice's endless magic, and retired believing that Beatrice would devote herself to people in the same way. As well as being Beatrice's master, she was also the consulting mage of Beatrice's old home. For this reason, Virgilia interacted with her in the manner of a servant. It is said that this was responsible for causing Beatrice's egoism and excesses. What this is about? Beatrice's old home. Renault, one of the 72 great demons, serves a master in exchange for various forms of compensation. Presently has a contract with Beatrice as her butler, head furniture. His multiple underlings trained in housekeeping, but he himself is extremely capable as a butler. Employing him has become a kind of status in the high society of witches. Furthermore, the cookies he bakes are superb, and the witches will often line up to demand them. Should possess enormous magical power, but as he always shows deference? It's not how different spelled. To his master, his power level is an unknown quantity. Sure. One of the 72 great demons, she's also Beatrice's friend. Grant the power of teleportation as the mage requested. She uses the wonderful power only for pranks. Her favorite tricks is hiding keys and bags on busy mornings. However, this power of hers is an ultimate weapon that risks delivering a little blow to a locked room mystery. Her queen bee-like strikes would probably penetrate all famous detectives and make him surrender. Huh? This doesn't sound right, okay? I'm not reading Sisters of Purgatory, fuck them. Minako. Episode 7. The Funeral of the Golden Witch? Probably, it's called. Earth to earth. Ashes to ashes. Fun to fun. Dust to dust. Illusions to illusions. And dreams for dreams. A dreams is something drawn in the sand between the coming and receiving waves. Something so fragile that it wipes blank each time the waves draw back. For this reason, the heartless mind sneer at the drawing and call it useless. Useless? However, no wave will ever come again to wipe away the dream she drew. Your final, beautiful dream would not disappear for all eternity. Come, try to picture it. Picture it as gentle afternoon sunshine on a warm spring day, as though that light would never dim again. After all, it is such a wonderful thing. Witness to your final dream. Pubulus Virgilia Mara. Virgilia chapter, Pog. New room, new background. The suspects were gathered in a room and several inquisitors were reported to the results of their investigation. Their uniforms closely resembled those of Eisern Jungfrau, but they were slightly different. Also different were the badges signifying their department. Then came the sound of someone clapping their hands once. It was the lead female inquisitor. It was her signal that all reasoning had been completed. For your attention, it is now beyond doubt. The preceding logic had proven the inexistence of your alibi. At the other end of your pointing fingers was a quivering maid with frightened eyes. Your name was... No, this wasn't important. Huge Higurashi vibes for some reason from older chapter of Higurashi. All that matter now is that she could have freely entered the locked room study where the victims was found, and furthermore, that it was been proved that her claimed alibi for the time of a crime was contradictory. Shaking, the maid tried to continue her logical pleading, but all her arguments has already been destroyed. With this, we have found significant proof for the whodunit and howdunit. Now that your position as a culprit is now a unchangeable fact. You must be joking! Why would I kill the master I loved and respected so? I have no motive, no reason! Who did it and how? None of these things are all we need to be established. For your attention, I beg to inform you of the following. Note that motives are unnecessary in mysteries. The Inquisitor spoke coldly. Destroyed by the facts and logic, a tale as all this time. Hello. After finishing her witch's prayer, Virgilia stepped back from the casket, which lay on the altar bedecked with many beautiful roses. What are we doing? They just killed her? In her place, Butler moved to the front of the casket, wearing his territory lord's cape. Though the cape was supposed to represent dignity and majesty, it somehow made Butler look smaller. Butler held a book with a majestic binding in his hand. It was a game record that had just been written. Or perhaps it was a tale, a game, or else a fragment. Written in it was the dream that would be more enjoyable for her than any other. Butler pressed it against his forehead and contemplated for some time. Then he kissed it and laid it gently in the casket. Beato's dead? How this works? It was placed upon your casket. It made her look like a little girl clutching her favorite stuffed animal as she drifted off to sleep. This story is my gift for you. The only one there will ever be. This tale will be shut up with you in your casket for all eternity. Again? Not again! Who knows? So no one will be able to read it except for you in your casket. Shut away in that cat box, the only unchanging inviolable, eternal tale. This way, no one will be able to define her tale. No one can deny it, and no one can argue against it, belonging to just me and her, just the two of us. This is one and only certain truth. What are we doing? Those bastards! A man dashed through the town wrapped in twilight. What's going on? The dim hustle and bustle of this charming, old-fashioned village, with combined tradition with stylistic beauty in the classic style of the last century, now seemed like a mere dream. The orange setting sun has already hidden behind the clock tower. Clock tower? And the narrow alleyways were rapidly descending into darkness. As the gaslights began to turn on, they only make the darkness of a twilight stand out all the more. What are we doing? What's going on? Umineko. Yes. The man sprinted. It's probably gonna make sense in the end, right? There was no time. He had to hurry. He'd had several experiments to do and things he had to check, and it was all taking longer than he expected. Yes, there is no mistake here. The whodunit and howdunit are all you need in mysteries. In the mystery genre, the motive, or whydunit, is given the last precedence. The only thing needed for a murder to exist is for a culprit to commit it. No part of it requires a motive, so it's usually the most ignored element. In fact, these days, there are even some who call it unnecessary element in mystery stories. Really? Motive is the most interesting part, because nobody can write good mysteries. If you determine the culprit, except for Umineko, if you determine the culprit with nothing but the whodunit, there is no mystery. That's propaganda. That's they kinda right. However, it doesn't mean you can ignore the motive. It doesn't make it okay to ignore the heart. On and off, pacing is insane. They decided, oh, you thought pacing was too slow? Well, now eat 2 stories at once. Oops, hold on. Oh. Sorry. We both know how enjoyable her final rest will be, so I doubt there is anyone who could disturb it. After all, who could possibly disturb the sleep of a child dreaming with a smile on her face? They doesn't know? Come, it is time for us to leave. If we are too noisy, we'll wake you up from your dream. You're right. What else should we do with a sleeping kid except put a blanket on them, turn off the lights, and walk away quietly? Maybe it's not Beato? After looking at the casket one last time, Virgilia turned around quietly. Butler did the same, but he didn't stop and turned to face the rose-covered altar. Are we not getting cool background image with Beatrice in casket? Or whoever it is. Butler said his final words with his heart. As long as those words didn't leave his mouth, no one would ever know what they were. However, those words of a heart caused Butler's expression to change several times. At first, he frowned sadly, then his face clouded with remorse, and then changed to a resigned, bittersweet smile. It flashed through several varied expressions. Then, the final expression that closed his face was surprisingly a gentle smile. If it's Erica, it wouldn't make sense, but I don't know. I don't think it's Erica. I don't think Virgilia Butler would give a shit about Erica. Something rose to Butler's lips. However, he bit it back down. There could certainly be no words to express the many feelings he kept in his chest. So, saying anything aloud would probably be crude. Butler understood this and stopped himself from speaking once more with a resigned smile. Thank you. Oh, I have done nothing deserving of your gratitude. I'll leave the rest to you. After seeing Virgilia nod back at him, Butler turned away from the altar one more time. and left the chapel. Virgilia also disappeared, and all disturbances that might have interrupted her blissful sleep were gone. Oh, back? Back at Insane Tale? The Inquisitors listened with a calm, no, scornful gazes. They listened to the frantic babbling of the maid accused of murdering her master. However, nothing she said could bury the fault of her own alibi. They were all mere emotional arguments. I loved and respected my master so much, I had no motive for killing him. No matter how much she spoke, it only made her look more and more like the floundering true culprit, struggling pathetically. The whodunit and howdunit has been satisfied. As for whydunit, the motive, the heart, who would care? No matter how much she spoke of her gratitude to her master, who had graciously fed her and gave her a job when she had been left to starve on the streets after various misfortunes, that didn't help her case in the slightest in the mystery genre. Therefore, her motive didn't matter. All of that could be squeezed out of the culprit afterwards. The Inquisitor took out a roll of parchment and held it forth, cutting off the maid's sobs and protests. This is how you committed the crime. Note that this indictment has been received by the Great Court and that your arrest had been approved. Here is warrant for your arrest. The motive is unnecessary. Know that such a thing is completely extraneous in the matter of pinpointing the culprit. Fuck. What? With that in mind, I beg to inform you of the following. Know that we of SSWD possess this method of forcing unrepentant criminals to reveal the truth. Be advised that with these interrogation tools blessed by the power of justice, we Inquisitors will strap up your limbs, burn them, crush them, hang you by them, and thereby wring the red truth out of you. It isn't even necessary for you to confess. Aides, arrested mate. It wasn't me. I didn't kill the master. No. Who the fuck is this? Hold it right here. Excuse me? You got the wrong culprit. A man kicked the door open and the Inquisitor were all shocked at the sound of him. Who the fuck is this? Why are you here? Good question. Oh, this guy. What? Why are you saying this if you know who it is? Why are you here? Know that you are no longer in charge of this case. Quiet. He has the same symbol as, what's your name? What's your name? You seen characters? What's your name? As Lenore. Quiet, you find one person without an alibi and just assume that she's a culprit? Do you really think there is no need for a motive, for a heart, in crime? Crimes are committed by people. There are no crime without a heart. I'll never accept any theory that ignores the heart. There's actually a lot of crime, okay, it's wrong. What I wanted to say, it's wrong. Know that you focus on the whodunit is simply embarrassing. The whodunit is unnecessary. Such a thing can be easily extracted through interrogation. Even the Great Court has already acknowledged that this woman is a culprit. The Great Court has I can read, I swear. The Great Court has heard your arguments that the maid must be guilty because everyone beside you has an alibi. Long story, try to catch up with Umineko, realize how long it would take, expose myself to like 2 characters, and some stuff that happened to the already existing character. What the fuck? I don't think it's fair! Oh no. I wish it was me. I wish I would just know what's gonna happen and not gonna be here for 50 more freaking hours. They mistaken your overconfidence and conceit for wisdom. If any one of other suspects loses their alibi, your evidence so far proves nothing. Just look at how pathetic some of these other alibis are. Did the clock in the reception hall crime midnight at exactly the right time? Did the dog by the back door bark at everyone? So you managed to So you managed to prove the maid's alibi false. Congratulations. But does it end here? It may have been possible for her to do it, but does she have any motive at all? Are the alibis for the others absolutely perfect? This maid wasn't the only one with a false alibi. You have to keep on researching if you want to find the others. Are we in medieval times? What's going on? Was there some sort of gratitude against the victim, or some money-related problem? Don't abandon motive, don't abandon the heart. Dry mysteries, where the motive can be just figured out later, aren't worth anyone's time. If the maid isn't the culprit, then why did she fake an alibi? Hey, I don't know what's gonna happen, mostly. Just have a few characters and ending for a single character for a story where I'm mostly lost, so yeah. Damn. Well, I hope eventually it's gonna make sense for you. If the maid isn't the culprit, then why did she fake an alibi? Even asking such a question is a waste of time. Not that we just have to interrogate her, write out the red truth, and have her sign in red blood to everything what happened in the time of crime. Yeah, you probably can do this. You can just use the torture of yours to squeeze out everything frankly and objectively, as seen from the eyes of God. But you know what? I've never accepted mysteries and theories that lack heart. I have taken over responsibility for this case. I even have a decree right here. Decree? Decree? Come on! 8. It's not 8, I'm sorry. Ides? No, there is no reason to hesitate. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. It has voice acting, actual voice acting. Let's hear how they call him. Is he here? No, he's not. Voice volume. Poor choice of words. Ah!
すでに本事件は本館に継承されたるものなり、ここに命令書もあるものなり。さあ、補佐官一同、構うことはなしと知りたまえ。そのメイドの逮捕を命じるものなりや。
No! It was wordless! I couldn't hear them say his name! Again, sorry, we got it last time.
すでに本事件は本館に継承されたるものなり、ここに命令書もあるものなり。さあ、補佐官一同、構うことはなしと知りたまえ。そのメイドの逮捕を命じるものなりや。
I'm sorry for wasting your time. No! How was I supposed to pronounce his name then? What the hell? Can't believe umineko actually has a good voice acting in it. When she gave this order, her subordinates hesitated, looking back and forth between their superior and that man. Oh, he's given one more sprite. He's probably important then. I won't let you. The real culprit is a different person. It's possible to use motive to find them, and the alibi tricks as an old one. You can't forget the heart. There is no need for that. Also try to watch a little of the anime. I saw that anime isn't close to this chapter and laughed at the voice since I already had an idea of their voices with your reading fun times. What do you mean anime isn't close to this chapter? I mean, it's probably somewhere. How many episodes in anime? Like 24? It's probably... you probably need to watch like first 16 episodes or something. Or does anime does not include this chapter at all or something? I don't know. I wanted to watch anime after I read this and then tell people to watch anime instead of reading this because it takes so much time. There is no need for that. Just have to find the suspicious ones who couldn't have committed the crime, interrogate them, and squeeze out the red truth. On the off chance that they are not the culprit, then we just have to interrogate the next suspect. You call this reasoning? Stand back! We will arrest this woman. Know that this maid is a culprit. Ooh, he has a shield. It's forbidden for a servant to be the culprit. What are this set of rules, excuse me? It wasn't a Nox, huh? What did you say? The words of a power blasted away by the... Aidas? Let's say Aidas, who were trying to arrest the maid. One Dine's 20 rules. What the fuck? Again? Not this shit again! One Dine's 20 rules, rule 11! If you want to torture this maid, make sure you double check the alibis for the second wife and kill over first. What are this set of rules? I think it doesn't include it from what I saw. 26 episode released in 2009, so yeah. Oh! I mean, if you're still interested in it, maybe you should read manga. I hear, like, manga echronize... Word is not echronize. Manga adapts the novel in chapter-to-chapter basis or something. I mean, episode to episode. Fuck. I can speak. What the fuck is Van Dyne's 20 rules? Okay, let's Google what the fuck is Van Dyne's 20 rules. Rule 11. Is it going to have some racist shit as it was with Nox? My favorite search engine called Bing. One Dyne's 20 rules. SS1 Dyne's 20 rules of writing detective stories. Excuse me? Oh, the first link is on 07 expansion wiki. Yo. This article is about rule set in umineko when they cry. Yeah, let's not read the Wikipedia spoilers. The detective story is a kind of intellectual game. Yeah, blah 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 blah. To wit, first. Shut up. The reader might have equal opportunity with a detective for solving all the mysteries. All clues must be plainly stated and described. Second, no willful tricks or deception may be placed on the reader other than those played legitimately by the criminal on the detective himself. No willful tricks or deceptions may be placed on the reader other than those placed legitimately by the criminal on the detective himself. Oh, this is fun rule. There must be no love interest. Uh-oh, that's why Beata dead, for sure. The business in hand is to bring a criminal to the bar of justice, not to bring a love-lorn couple to the chimeral altar. Uh-oh. The detective himself, rule number 4, or one of the official investigators should never turn out to be the culprit. This is a bad trickery or on par with offering someone a bright a bright penny for a $5 gold piece. It's a false pretenses. Fifth rule, the culprit must be determined by a logical deduction, not by accident or coincidence, or unmotivated confession. To solve a criminal problem in this latter fashion is like sending the reader on a deliberate wild goose chase and then telling him after he has failed that you had the object of his search up your sleeve all the time. Such an author is no better than a practical joker. Joke? Okay. The detective novel must have a detective in it, and a detective is not a detective unless he detects. His functions is to gather clues that will eventually lead to the person who did the dirty work in the first chapter, and if a detective does not reach his conclusions through an analysis of those clues, he has no more solved this problem than a schoolboy who gets his answer out of a bag of the arithmetics. This is funny sentence. Seventh one. There simply must be a corpse in a detective novel, and the deader the corpse, the better. What? And the deader the corpse, the better. No lesser crime than murder will suffice. 300 pages is far too much fodder for a crime other than murder. After all, the reader's trouble and expenditure of energy must be rewarded. Jesus Christ, that's bloody. I wonder how many people died in umineko according to this. The problem of the crime must be solved by strictly naturalistic means. Such methods for learning the truth as tale writing Ouija boards, mind reading, spiritualistic seances, crystal gazing, and are like a taboo. Uh-oh. A reader has a chance when matching his list for a rationalistic detective, but if he must complete with the words of spirits and go chasing about the fourth dimension of metaphysics, he is defeated ab initio. Okay. Ninth one, there must be one detective, that is, but one protagonist of deduction, one deus ex machina. There must be but one detective, one deus ex machina, to bring the minds of 3 or 4, or sometimes again of detectives to bear on a problem is not only disperse the interest and break the direct thread of logic, but to take— I'm sorry, I can't read this fucking front, but to take an unfair advantage of a reader. There is more than one detective. The reader doesn't know who his co-deductor is. It's making the reader run a race with a relay team. Okay, we almost finished. No, we don't almost finish. It's actually much more than 20 rules. It's actually oh no, 20 is 20. I thought it was 12. Okay. I don't know numbers. We finished it. I'm committed. Sanko's fallacy. There must be one detective. Read this one. Tense. The culprit must turn out to be a person who has played a more or less prominent part in the story. That is, a person with whom the reader is familiar in and whom he takes an interest. Ooh. A servant must not be chosen by the author as a culprit. This is begging a noble question. It's too easy solution. The culprit must be a decidedly worthwhile person. That one wasn't ordinary commander suspicion. Okay, this one's funny. Oh, this one is about the servants! Must there be— that's the 12th one. Must there be one culprit, no matter how many murders are committed? The culprit may, of course, have a minion, minor helper, or a water? Have a minor helper or a co-plotter, but the entire opus must rest on a pair of shoulders. The entire indication of the reader must be permitted to concentrate I'm gonna die. To concentrate on a single black nature. 13. Secret societies, cameras, malfas, etc. have no place in a detective story. A fascinating and truly beautiful murder is irresistibly spoiled by such an wholesale capability. To be sure, a murderer is a detective. In a detective novel, should be given a sporting chance, but it's going too far to grant him a secret society to fall back on. No high-class, self-respecting murderer would want such odds. Okay, this is really fun, actually. 14. The method of the murders, the means of detecting it must be rational and scientific. That is to say, pseudoscience and purely imaginative and speculative devices are not to be tolerated in a Roman polisser. Once another soars into a realm of fantasy. Uh-oh. In a Jules Verne manner. Jules Verne? How to read it in English? He is outside the bounds of a detective fiction, covering in the uncharted reaches of adventure. Whatever. 15. The truth of a problem must at the time be apparent, provided the reader is shrewd enough to see it. By this I mean that if the reader, after learning fuck my life. Hold on. Fuck, I fucked it up. Oh no. Control plus. Yay, big letters. The truth of a problem must be at all times be apparent, providing the reader is shrewd enough to see it. By this I mean that if the reader, after learning the explanation for crime, should reread the book, he would see that solution had, in a sense, been staring him in the face, that all the clues really pointed to the culprit. Oh, that's what happened when I tried to reread umineko. If he had been as clever as a detective, he could have solved the mystery himself without going to the final chapter. Okay, to be fair, so plot point in umineko is that that Kinzo is a fucking dad, but umineko starts with Kinzo talking to somebody. Is it fair? I don't think so. The clever reader does not often... That the clever reader does often solve the problem goes without saying. Okay, fuck you. 16. A detective novel should contain no long descriptive passages, no literally dealing with a side issue, no subtly worked out character analysis, no atmospheric preoccupations. Oh, no, okay, good pacing, it says. Okay. Such matters have no vital place in the record of a crime and deduction. They hold up the action and introduce issues irrelevant to the main purpose, which is to state a problem, analyze it, and bring it to a successful conclusion. Uh-oh. To be sure, there must be sufficient descriptiveness and character delineation to give the novel... What are those words? Verisimilitude, I'm sorry. 17. We're almost finished. A professional criminal must never be shouldered with the guilt of a crime in a detective story. Okay, so true. Crimes by housebreakers and bandits are the province of a police department, not of authors and brilliant amateur detectives. A really fascinating crime is the one committed by a pillar of a charge or a sponsor noted for his charities. This is good rule. 18. A crime in a detective story must never turn out to be an accident or a suicide. Uh-oh! To end an odyssey of slaughtering with such an anticlimax is to hoodwink the trusting and kind-hearted reader. 19. The motives for all crimes in detective stories should be personal. International plotting and war politics belong in a different category of fiction. You probably can make a really good detective story with war politics and shit. In Secret Service tales, for instance, but a murder story must be kept German words, gemütlich, so to speak. I have no idea what it means. It must reflect the reader's everyday experiences and give him a certain outlet of his own repressed desires and emotions. No spy novels. 20. Last one. And to give my credo at even scores of items, no idea what this means. I have here's a list of a few devices which no self-respecting detective story writer will now avail himself of. They have been employed too often and are familiar to a true lover of a literary crime. To use them is a confession of the author's ineptitude and lack of originality. A. Determining the identity of a culprit by comparing the butt of a cigarette left in the scene of a crime with a brand smoked by a suspect. Huh. I feel like I read something like this recently. B. The bogus spiritualistic seance to frighten the culprit into giving himself away. This is fun. C. Forged fingertips. D. Dummy figure alibi. E. The dog that does not bark and thereby reveals the fact that the intruder is familiar. Oh! This one! Okay, spoilers! I'm not telling you. Oh, maybe I will tell you. It was in Knives Out. The final planning of a crime of a twin or a relative who took exactly like a suspected by innocent person. Oh, this one is fun. All of these are fun though! G. The hypodermic syringe and the knockout drops. Uh-oh! H. The commission of the murder in a locked room after the police have actually broken in. I. The word association test for guilt. Uh-oh! I read this one recently too! G is a cipher or a code letter, which is eventually unraveled by the sleuth. Sleuth? We finished it! Yay, this was worth it, definitely. Sleuth? Sleuth, a person who investigates crimes, a detective. Thank you very much. Okay, can't wait for all of this to be relevant, and for me to forget it next time. In other story, all of these rules would make little to no sense. In umineko, they make a little more sense. As someone living in the country that literally made a murder mystery series out of a death of a famous politician, trust me, you can make a murder mystery out of politics. Not that it would be fun. Oh my god, can you tell me what it is? It sounds awesome! I mean, really I mean, morally questionable, but sounds awesome. Yeah, I've seen Knives Out. Knives Out is good. Hold on a second, I need to pour myself more water. And we continue with umineko. Okay, I'm ready. So ready? Ouch. If you want to torture this maid, make sure you double check the alibis of the second wife and her lover first. Those two already have a clear alibi for the time of a crime. Then, an alibi? Damn it, I feel like you could understand no matter how easy I make it for you. Also, I think the anime ends in a questions arc? Really? Really? What's the point of that? Doesn't it have the second season or something? Umineko anime. Anime. Mal? Mal? What Mal says? Umineko no naku kara ni. Blah 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 blah. Okay, Mal is worthless. Who would have thought? Okay, you're probably right. Because I read this comment that somebody says that answers arc are really different from question arc. Huh. What about manga then? Manga's supposed to have it. Oh, manga's supposed to have it because if you go to Manga on Mal and you click on top manga, there's going to be last episode of Umineko in front of the manga in the top. I remember, oh yeah, Umineko Nakakoro ni episode 8, Twilight of a Golden Witch, volumes 9. Yeah, this is really popular on Mal, and it also has Angie's ass. Yay! I mean, I'm sorry. Sorry. It was released in 2009, only has one season, so yes, probably won't have the second one. Oh, this is weird, why didn't they make the continuation? They recently made a Higurashi new anime, why didn't they... So Higurashi now has like 2 or 3 animes, why Umineko only has 1? Huh! Yeah, manga has it, but again, it's probably easier just to follow you till the end and maybe I'll go back. Yeah, it's true, I agree. Sorry, we should stop yapping, we should read Umineko. It was 40 minutes and I almost didn't do anything. What, an alibi? Damn, I feel like you could understand no matter how easy I'd make it for you. If you want to call yourself a Chief Inquisitor, try and figure out at least that much for yourself. Until then, I'll be taking that maid's arrest warrant. Then, what about you? Can you provide that this maid didn't commit the crime? Know that she was clearly away from the kitchen at the time of a crime. What was she doing then, and where? She can prove it, I can prove it, and you can prove it, no one can! That's why we have no choice but to use these torture devices to interrogate her until the right truth is squeezed out. You can squeeze as much blood and truth from the true culprit as you damn well please. But know this, I won't let you interrogate or torture anyone who isn't the culprit. This is why everyone says you're too soft! All suspicious must be interrogated. I mean, it was 2009, 11, a notorious years for many good animes with only 1 season. Legend of the legendary heroes, never forget. Anyway, back to Umineko. Legend of the legendary heroes. No, we can't back to Umineko if we continue yapping about anime. Legend of a Densetsu no... This is it? I never heard of it. It looks like anime of this period, for sure. Alpha Sigma are known as the eye that can analyze all types of magic. It's like Colgius? No, it's not. Or the more infamously known as cursed eyes that can only bring destruction and death to others. Okay. Durudu is a talented mage and also an Alpha Sigma barrier, was one student of the Roland Empire Magician Academy, an elite school decided to training magicians for military purposes. However, after many of his classmates died in a war, he made an oath to make the nation a more orderly and peaceful place, with fellow survivors and a best friend, Shion Astai. Now that Shion is the king of Roland, he orders Reiner to search for useful relics, and that will aid the nation. Together with fairies, Ares, why is her name like this? This is funny. A beautiful and highly skilled swordsman, Reiner goes on a journey to search for relics of the legendary heroes from the past and also uncover the secrets behind the cursed eyes. That sounds fun, in a sense. Also kinda insane. Typical. Yeah, the description isn't great, but it is. But it is. It sounds fun. Anyway, this is why everyone says use the soft. All suspicious must be interrogated. This is how the Inquisitor conducts our witch trials. That's right, we are Inquisitors. Feeling evil witches is our job. However, we must not risk hurting the innocents. We must not suspect them. All humans have their own life, their own personal truths. Those should only be exposed when they commit crimes. We've been given the right to expose them. But there is one thing we can do. What? No one, not even God, has the right to expose the innocent truth of those who have not sinned. He's right, he's so right. The man finally realized that he was trying to protect her. I don't know who you are, but thank you very much. I'm really not the culprit. Yeah, I know. Your boyfriend said that he'd be willing to give up everything to prove your alibi. We should thank him. This kid said that the honor and reputation are worth nothing compared to you. But if he does that, it will come to that. Exposing the secrets between lovers is a job for the third-rate magazines. That's not mystery. Uh-oh. I'll never lie for heartless reasoning. Then for the first time, the man's sullen expression relaxed as he patted the maid's head unreservedly. I'm sure you two will be happy together. Still, meeting together in a secret while on a job is hardly praiseworthy. Try to keep that to a minimum. Thank you so much! Thank you so much! These words were heard only by the two of them. The man had learned of your innocence, which only could be proven by exposing the secret of a pair of young lovers, and he had rushed about in secret of a solution, representful of an arrogance of those trying to expose this by forcible means. The point of a theory making is not to create a culprit, nor it is to trample the truth in the hearts of the innocent in a progress. Heart matters. If you want to play detective, don't forget the heart. Forget that, and we're just intellectual rapists. Why does he keep saying this? I don't think they deserve to say it. Don't forget it. Why can you be normal, umineko? The Inquisitor couldn't argue back any longer after the man's forceful words. The man's name was Will. But everyone called him by a different title. Yeah, I noticed. Wait, didn't you call him Will in the first place? That's such an easy name to say. Chief Inquisitor in the CCVT is the 8th District Representative Enforcement Agency of a Great Court of Heaven. Wizard Harding, right? Will, right? Okay. Is he getting? Yo! Williard H. Wright. Wirado H. Raito. Ice Attorney. Rolls right on the tone, doesn't it? It does. A member of the SSVD, the 8th District Representants Enforcement Agency of a Great Court of Heaven, Inquisitor, ranked Archbishop, first class. Oh, he's like Glenor, okay. Goes by the name Right over 20 Wedges, or a Wizen Harding Right. Phoenix Wright? He was an ace inquisitor by his youth and was feared for being both ruthless and merciless in his work. However, at some point there was a change in his work attitude, and his previous flashy escapades became a thing of the past. His current style is often fickle, alternating between laziness and obsessive bursts of energy regarding mere trifles. Oh my god, he's literally me. By now, everyone has given up trying to understand him. He was already submitted his resignation and had it accepted. Only a few days remain before he will lose the name of right. Why was I doing this all the time? Wizard hunting right. That's the last thing I'm leaving behind for you all. If you want to be the next wizard hunting right, remember it. Never forget. Oh my god, the blue... The violet words? Yo! New song? Should I disappear for a second? Freaking budget. Yo! Who? Okay, now all of these people. Okay. Okay. The murder of Beatrice! Oh no! I'm back. Not again? Lorelei. Quietly. The rain fell down. The rain of sadness dripped down the outer wall of a chapel, quietly washing away the dust of the world of the living. The chapel doors were open. Fuck. A second. Oops, sorry. For a wedding, only those with invitation would be allowed in. However, for a funeral, the doors would be open for all those who remember the deceased. So this must be funeral. Oh, for those in the island who remember the deceased, you mean? A figure holding an umbrella approaching the chapel. It was Will. Oh, it's not Beata. Who died then? Okay. I thought it was about Beata, because they used this background. Supposedly, it's on Rokijima, no? How many times do you want Beatrice to die, writer? Yes? Oh no. Okay, maybe it's not Beatrice. Maybe she's fine. The reception desk had been set up in the entrance to the chapel. So much new backgrounds. So many. Oh no, Kanan's here. Why the fuck is Kanan's here? Why Will and Kanan in the same reality? What? As the figure approached, Kanan, who has been sitting at the desk, stood up and welcomed him with a bow. This is the reception desk. We're collecting the names of all mourners. If you would sign on here. Sorry. But I'm not here to mourn. I'm here to meet with someone. You came to funeral to meet someone? A dubious expression rose on Kanan's face. Will pulled an envelope from his pocket and showed him the sender's name. How is this gonna work? My apologies. Please enter. Thanks. Could I at least have one of those? Thank you very much. I'm sure she will be pleased. Kanan handed one of the golden roses being handed out to the mourners. Will took it, silently bowed his head, and entered the chapel. Maybe she's fine. That's the first mistake. Assuming Beata is fine is violation of the first rule of umineko. Whoa, that's brutal for her. Inside the chapel, several people who appeared to be family of the deceased were gathered together, and they all seemed to be recalling memories of the departed. What is going on? Why is Kinzo alive? What? Ouch, are we in the past? That's why we're here? Beatrice, why? Why? Father, you must compose yourself. Why don't you rest in the waiting room for a bit? I killed her. I did it. Sorry. What the fuck? I killed her. I did it. Absurd! How could it be, Rosa-sama? Father was really bawling. Yeah, Beatrice. I'm sure he didn't cry this much when mother passed away. Hey, that's not the time to say things like that. Some sobbed, unable to conceal their tears. You know, Beatrice, what are you talking about, guys? And some spoke softly of old memories. They were all remembering the departed in their own ways, it seemed. Huh? Then Will approached the altar. Several people turned around. Who the fuck is Will? Why is he here? Of course some of them knew who Will was. Okay, phew. At least I'm not the only one. Playing this no mind, Will walks in front of the casket of the altar, which seemed to be buried in golden roses. Inside the casket, there was no corpse. Instead, as though it lay here in the place of a body, there was a single thick book with an extravagant binding. The space all around it was filled with countless golden roses. There were words printed on the book's cover. To my beloved Beatrice, October 5th, 1986. What are we doing? What is going on? How? I mean, it's probably really easy to just make insane new story from the same circumstances as before, but holy shit! What? Miss Beatrice. If it was Mrs., then forgive me. I've never met you. However, allow me to express my condolences. He took the rose he had received from reception area and placed it in a casket. He has absolutely no connection with a woman called Beatrice. However, since he had come to visit a funeral, he had to follow this minimum display of respect for the dead. As part of this, Will prayed for the passage of the departed to the next world. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Pardon me, but who you might be? I am Ushirmiya Kraus. I'm acting instead of a chief mourner. This is my child. Who? Leon? Who? Who's this? Excuse me? What the fuck? Human said one person, Ushiramiya Leon? The first child of Kraus and Natsuhi. Never once mentioned? What? Was given the silver ring of a head successor and will succeed the position of a family head upon turning 20. Are we in a world where Natsuhi did not kill her child? Oh, what? It wasn't her child. Are we in the world that Natsuhi didn't kill the child of Kinzo and whoever the fuck in Beatrice? What? Was given the silver ring of a head successor and will succeed the position of a family head upon turning 20. He's not 20 yet? Mild, polite, and without any clever faults, except for being too young. This youth is more suitable to become the next head than any other, and is adored by Kinzo. What the fuck? What is this? Huh? Why he dressed like this? I'm sorry. Pleased to meet you. I'm Ushiramiya Lion. Leon? He's Leon. He's not Lion. Leon. Lion? It's supposed to be Lion. Why would it be Leon? Leon spelled differently. Leon spelled with E. Of course, didn't you know? Just, who are you? is written as Rigyo, but pronounced like Rion. Oh, Rion. Okay, okay, it makes sense. Sounds a bit strange for a Japanese name, doesn't it? Why are we starting chapter with the two new characters introduced in some fucking parallel world? Will stared at Leon's face, wearing a confused expression. He hadn't seemed to be partially interested in crows, but apparently Leon had drawn some of the reaction from him, okay. Rather than interest, it is more as though he felt like something was out of place. Crow-sama, Madam says it's about time. I see. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are too noisy in here, it may disturb the dead. I've been told that the waiting room has been readied. Shall we move over here? When Crows called out to everyone, they began to move toward the chapel waiting room. My apologies. Lion, could you entertain our guest for now? Is it not Lion? Should we test it again? Config. The Murder of Beatrice. Can't believe they have a chapter named The Murder of Shiremiya Butler and then a chapter named The Murder of Beatrice. His voice is funny. I will guide the others to the waiting room. Ooh, really high voice. Suspicious. Leon. Oh, because it's Japanese manner. That's why we read it as Rion. Okay. Now I get it. See, this time it wasn't worthless. Yes, father. It looked like a natural conversation with no awkwardness for either father or a child. Not once was mentioned before? Love it? Father and child, is it? Yeah, but why do you ask? Shiremiya Crow's child is supposed to be Jessica. Jessica's my little sister. Do you need me to call for her? No, that won't be necessary. Apparently, some sort of game was already been played right off the bat. Scratching at his head, an irritating look on his face, Willie glanced around. Willie? Pardon me, but what sort of relation did you have with the deceased? Not at all. It's a real pain. Then, why did you come to this funeral? Since Lon was a fairly mild person, Will's behavior was met with some more than a blank expression. A normal person would probably have put on a dubious look long before this. Will scratched his head again and yelled angrily at someone other than Rion. I'm here. Isn't it about time you showed your face? The members of the Shiremiya family had already followed Krause's instruction and moved to the waiting room. By now, the cold vast chapel decorated with gold roses was empty except for Will and Rion. So, you've come. Inquisitor Wisenharting, right? The girl's voice came suddenly from behind the pillar. Who? Well, yeah, what did you expect? Also, there is never mentioned daughter of Beato and Butler. That would be brutal. If there was a daughter of Beato and Butler and they never mentioned her. That would be awful. I would legitimately be upset. Oh. When Lion turned around in surprise, a girl had appeared out of nowhere and drifted down on top of the altar. She landed softly on the sacred funeral altar, although this was perfectly normal, crushing the golden roses under his shoes. Of course, Lion did not know this girl. Just why on earth were all these people unrelated to the funeral popping up one after another? So true? I'm already retired. Have a job? If you have a job you need doing, go ask the new right. No, you're the one I want to ask. I'm giving this case to you. Did you read the tale I sent you? Skimmed it. I don't know who you are, but please get down from here. That's a sacred altar. Snapping out of daze, Lion told the girl to get down off the altar, but the girl ignored this completely. On top of that, Will kept on talking to a girl although Lion wasn't even here. Lion, was it? Who is this person? You already heard who. Ushiramiya Lion. There is no case of a person with that name appearing in any of the previous games. Oh, he knows! Is this your piece? No. It's a true and proper piece of this game board. One of the appealing characters. You're the game master. This means it's your piece. I've just enclosed Beata's cat box in a larger cat box. Lion is one of the pieces who had the responsibility of appearing inside it. Ah, I see. In other words, it's your piece. It's a piece I've placed, would be a correct way to say it. So you're saying this piece isn't your subordinate, as Erika was? Erika? Who's that? No, what the fuck? Not Erika. Erika-san? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Don't try to understand. You just get a headache. Lion didn't have a clue what they were talking about. However, it seemed clear that, though neither of them were familiar, they both knew a lot about the Ushiramiya family. I don't know what you're talking about. At any rate, you're here, miss. Please get down off the altar. I asked this as a successor to the Ushiramiya family headship. Even Lion was finally forced to speak in a raised voice at this girl who continued to chat while casually standing on the altar. However, the girl ignored this completely. On the other hand, Will did show a reaction. The successor of the headship was supposed to be Kraus. My father, Kraus, will be acting head until I turn 20. When I turn 20, I am to succeed the headship. First I've heard of this. Can you prove it? It seemed that even Lion was starting to get tricked off by now. That calm expression seemed to twitch slightly. Wait. What? Is he actually Beato's child? Beato and somebody else's? I mean, he looks like Beato, and it was proven before that children kinda looks like their parents? Probably? Are you somewhat related to somebody? God, that game of taking drinks for a return umineko reference in chess pieces is going to be brutal if anyone tries it. Oh my god, I saw a tweet on Twitter where somebody was like, every time Umineko says in other words, don't try to drink because you're gonna be drunk on the first episode. It says it a lot of times, which is really funny. Umineko is really fun in this regard. You can get really drunk really fast if you're into it, I guess. This is the successor silver ring of a one-winged eagle. Is that proof enough for you? A silver ring? The gold ring of a head has appeared several times, but I've never heard anything about the silver ring for the successor. I don't remember Kraus or Jessica ever wearing one of those. Yeah, me too. I'm glad. It seemed you read it pretty well for scheming. When a witch hands you a story, you never know when something absurd will pop up, especially when it's a great witch from the Senate. Oh, who in the world? Are you too? Sorry, but I don't have a clue what you're talking about. If you finish offering flowers for the departed, please make your exit. Doesn't he seize the purple around? It seems you two are not worthy of our family's hospitality. Lion finally ran out of patience. These were the strictest word that this gentle kid could unleash. However, Will and this girl seem not to care at all. Get fucked, Lion. I didn't come here because I wanted to. You're wasting time, so let's move onwards, right? Try and beat this game. As a game master, Becastel, I invite you to join this game. I refuse. Why? I'm retired now. Reasoning and mysteries aren't my business anymore. How do you intend to spend the rest of your life? Is wizard hunting going to give up witch hunting? Oh, there is a fox hunting and cow hunting. I didn't come here to discuss the rest of my life with you. So you came here to refuse? I notice your power of deduction a truly sight to behold. Then do it as you will. Go whenever you please. That is, assuming that you can leave the place. So, there are the terms and payments? In truth, Will had already given up from the beginning. He knew that he was incapable of refusing an invitation from the great Lady Bercastel. Who killed Beatrice? That is my game. Easy, it was Butler. In payment, I will forgive you for your insolence and let you leave this chapel. I heard that witches who have no love for boredom are very fond of insolent speech. That's only for hogs who've tired of life after 1,000 years. I'm still plenty young, so what I love to do to rude men like yourself is dream of horrible fates in which to trap you. So, who's the enemy? There is none. There is no one to stand in your way. We just want to sit back and watch you make your beautiful checkmate in this game. I've ever found you an ally. That's what this lion for. Hmm? Oh no, he's just here to look cute and like have displeased expression in his face. Apparently, they were moving things along with Lion's knowledge of without Lion's knowledge or understanding, which was truly irritating. Lion is a member of the Shiremiya family. Since no one in the family knows you, Lion should prove to be a useful ally. I fail to understand what you're talking about, but I can't help you with anything unless I know the details. There, see? With help like this, it'd be a piece of cake. Entertain me and my master wasn't hard in right. Ow may be a polite theater-goer, but I might throw popcorn at you if I get bored, got that? Will scratched his head with a displeased look on his face. He wasn't at all interested in getting involved, but by now he realized that he couldn't disobey Bercastel's orders. Then he approached the casket and pointed at its rose-filled insides. You asked me to solve the case of Beatrice's Oh, where's your body? But Mandine's 20 rules, Rule 7, it's forbidden to have a crime without a corpse. True, he knows! Well, I already like Will, sure he's not insane Erika level, but it's also his for appearance, so we will see. I think he's going to be normal. I hope. I think Leon gonna be weird one. For sure. It's forbidden to have crime without a corpse. That's a devil's proof. Maybe it just isn't inside the casket. Unless he can prove there is no corpse exists, this is a mystery. Rule number 1, it is forbidden to have a crime without any clues presented. Don't worry, everything is gathered here. There was no chance of Will's unsatisfied expression, but he seemed to have understood that everything was at least in order. From the moment he was summoned by an uninhibited and fickle, cruel great witch of a senate, a mere inquisitor like him was bound to be treated as no more than an underling. He had never possessed a way to refuse her. So you want me to find who killed the owner of this empty casket? Fine, I accept. However, you let me do this thing my way, as you like it. I just wondered, how big is our Shiremiya family at this point? Well, sometimes they should show us the full family tree with all the people in it. Surely. First off, I need to make you understand what's going on. Yeah, that would be a great relief. Lan's face was a goulash of displeased expressions, seeming nonplussed, angry, and confused at the same time. Over here, it'd be faster to see it for yourself. Wonderful. Please lead the way. Just agrees to go with this guy who he just met. Will signaled with his chin for Lion to follow him and spun around. After snorting once in an unsatisfied manner, Lion followed Will while looking deeply skeptical in a latter's ability to explain any of this in a way that would make sense. As she watched the pair leave the chapel, Bercastel sneered silently at them with a cold smile on her face. As umineko of the Great Witch of Theatre going, drama and spectating, Vaseline something Aurora in the Witch of Miracles, I, Birkenstell, announce the start of this game. The tale titles is a requiem of a golden witch, spin a tale fitting for Beata's funeral. Well now, let's see how you drag out the guts. After watching the pair leave the chapel, Birkenstell's form evaporated into an empty air just as she arrived. All that remained was her unpleasant cackling. Real for now, I feel kinda like I'm too old for this shit, kinda. Maybe. Outside it was still raining. So much new backgrounds. Really pretty doors, damn. Really weird design. Kinda boring images in the walls. When Conan saw the guest and the head successor approaching the reception desk, he bowed deeply. Good work. You can take a break now, so would you mind leaving? It's Conan. What the fuck? Excuse me, Conan was here for every chapter and you don't know his name? You just came here, Jesus. Okay, minus 100 points. As you wish. Conan bowed deeply, then disappeared. Are we gonna address it? You don't bother to remember the names of your servants? Thank you. Our family has many young servants coming in and out, and they're usually replaced quite frequently. Anyway, what's going on, and how are you going to explain it to me? Who are you, and what business do you have with this family? Of course, I'm not really in need of a satisfying explanation. I'd be just happy for you to head on home. There is no going home. Not for me, not for anyone. Could you please give it a rest? Stop speaking confusing riddles like that all the time. Even I have limits to my patience. If you don't want me to see you off, should I call Genji or Goda? Stop talking. Look at this. Yes, I see what it is. It's one of the memorial roses. Are you going to show me some kind of magic trick? Will took one of the flower offerings. It's not that gold. It's yellow. Then showed it to Lion, as if to demonstrate that there was no mechanisms or tricks. Then he slowly lifted it upwards. Watch. Yeah, I'm watching. Is a dove going to fly out of it? Or is it going to be flags and fireworks? Huh? Will threw the rose, and then stepped on it. Anyone would have expected it to fly in an arc and land in some puddle amid the wind and rain. The betrayal of the expectations struck Lion down. Initially, the rose Will had thrown had certainly flown in an arc. It squished rapidly through the air. However, as soon as it was about to pass from the shade of the eaves into the rain, it stopped right in midair, as though the air surrounding it turned into syrup. That wasn't all. If it hung in midair, the rose's beautiful golden petals began to darken one after another, and it became a black husk, like a burnt charcoal. And even after this happening, it remained suspended here in the air. Such a big betrayal. What sort of trick is this? Don't move. Lion had moved closer to try and touch the remains of a rose, which still hung in the air. Will had roughly blocked the way with his arm. It was as though he was telling Lion that leaving this place meant certain death. The chapel has been cut off from the fragment. We are currently locked with a maelstrom of compressed time. What do you mean by that? Explain Spain, so I give you the short version. Basically, unless we're playing alone with a witch's game, no one can leave this place. What are you talking about? The funeral is already over. I'm sure some people want to return to the mansion or a guest house. We can't be locked in here. But does it mean that Beatrice got killed in here? If you got a problem, that witch is the one to hate. Being stuck in a place like this isn't any more pleasant for me. That girl your friend, right? Make you stop all this weirdness. She's just okay. I'm going to go along with this. She's probably sitting in a spectator's seat with a bucket of popcorn about now. Even if I call her, she won't come. What on earth is going on? That short sentence described all of the lion's feelings at this moment. However, Lion had seen the rose well through wither in an instant in the rainy darkness. Lion tried doing the same thing with another rose, but the effect was exactly the same. No one would want to use their own body to test their fears on something that could make roses crumble instantly. Yeah, dudes, just tell her stop, ignore her. Totally will work. Yeah, she wouldn't like it. She wouldn't make the situation worse for you both, for sure. There's only one way for us to be released from here. We'll have to play along with Brooke-and-Stell's game. You mean the one about who killed Beatrice? That's what she's telling us to investigate. If you could tell me about it, I'd make things go more quickly. That fickle witch will totally be satisfied. You'll be able to get rid of the two of us, and I get to go home in time for my date with Diana. Ooh, who? If I keep her waiting too long, she'll start tearing up in the sofa again. Oh no! Who killed Beatrice, you say? That's hardly something to go barging about into a funeral and start asking the family about. Questioning the family of the deceased is one of the basics of a mystery genre. Just give up and accept it. I do not know what Beatrice is a mistress of I do know that Beatrice is a mistress of Kinzos, the family had. You really are a strange person. How do you know so much about this family? Are you sure you have no connection with us? Will knew so much about the Shiremia family because Brooke-and-Stell had shown him all the fragments so far. Of course, he had no sort of connection with the Shiremia family himself. The very plane of his existence was on a different level. What about Butler? However, Beatrice died a long time ago. According to Genji, she passed away before the mansion was completed. But the reason for her death is unclear. To be honest, this is the first I've ever heard she was killed. Tell me about it. My name is Shiremia Lion. Oh, Williard. Call me Will. For the first time, Will introduced himself. The mutual introduction was finally completed, and Lion was finally be able to talk with him on even footing. However, Lion took a deep breath and looked up at the sky, wearing a vague smile. Will-san. Call me Will. I'll call you Lion. Will. To be honest, even I don't know about this person called Beatrice. I see. Guess it's called the game for a reason. If only Lion could have told him everything, revealing the truth without any effort from Will. Apparently, things wouldn't be so easy after all. How do you know so much about this family? Do you know them? Stares the fourth wall and looks at us reading this. Well, hello here. Oh no. This would be creepy. Anyone who enters the Shiremia family knows the name and image of Beatrice. That's because of a massive portrait hanging in an entrance hall, isn't it? That portrait was displayed on April of 1984. Really? How do you know this much? Oh, well, it's about time I stopped finding that odd. I'm sure he'll just start speaking in riddles again. Lion was the successor of the head and lived with the main family. Kinzo frequently chose to speak with his successor. What the fuck? Because of this, Lion must have been used for chatting with people who were moody and hard to follow. Deciding once and for all that getting hung up on the trivialities would be nothing but a waste of time, Lion was able to converse naturally with this unknown man called Will, as though the two of them had been friends for a long time. Everyone knows Beatrice. That's true, and yet no one knows her. Kinza is the only one who ever met her. The head seemed to be particularly upset today. I'll find a good time to introduce you to him, so I'll ask you that you adopt an appropriately reserved and polite attitude, Will-san. That makes things easy. I thought you resist a bit more than that. I used to speak with a family head. I've learned to accept most unreasonable situations and just go with the flow. Brooke-and-Stell had set up a barrier cutting the chapel off from the rest of the world. To destroy that, they would have to find out who killed Beatrice. For Lion, who had been made to go along with Kinzo on many occasions, understanding this much was all that necessary. Are we now going to see Butler? Please? Or Bercaste? Oh fuck. Or Federica? Or fuck. Or Erika? Rose's confession. Oh no, we're still here. Many new backgrounds. Another one. The Shrimia family members were relaxed here and there around the waiting room. A light Buffett-style meal had been set up, but it looked a bit stale. Oh shit! Fuck, I'm so stupid. Hold on. Oh, why didn't I thought about it before? I don't have any place on my hard drive. What am I supposed to do with what? Okay, just download it later. Fuck this. A light blue buffet-style meal had been set up, but it looked a bit stale and not particularly appetizing. Oh! Maria is here, even though those voracious kids seem to find it intensely appealing. Too much for umineko for Windows to handle. I have like 50 gigabytes of umineko voids in my hard drive that I'm too lazy to cut off and render. Oh. And so, those precious kids seemed to find it intensely appealing. The cousins had set up camp around it with Maria at the center. The adult sibling had also formed a group in a different corner. Is Butler here? I'm sorry, stop. Perhaps because of Kinza's absence, everyone seemed to be a little more relaxed. Okay, I'm just thinking about what they said in the last part, in the ending of the last episode. And they said that's 17 people here now. And I'm thinking, who's the person who's not here anymore? It's supposed to be Butler, for sure. For sure, right? Perhaps because of Kinza's absence, everyone seemed to be a little more relaxed, reading everything in place. Lion, where did you go? And who is that? Mother, I was entertaining this guest of ours. Well, this is my mother, Natsuki. No introduction needed, I just need to hear what she has to say. Did you say something? No, he said nothing. This is Wilson. It seemed he knew the deceased. With a smile, Lion casually smoothed over Will's words. He wants to know more about Beatrice. Do you know anything about your mother? Lion, the deceased is a woman to whom they had once owed a great debt. Nothing more, nothing less. This funeral is a ceremony for the head to repay the debts he made to her while she was alive. That is what I have heard, and there is nothing more to it than that. Thanks, Mother. Well, that's all my mother knows. Natsuki was very resistant to the scandalous rumors that Kinzo, a man he greatly respected, had once had a concubine called Beatrice. However, she also understood that the scandal was probably the truth. Would Beatrice's corpse count too? No, I don't think so. I mean, she's dead. How does it count as a person? But he learned that Natsuki was in a bad mood and didn't want to talk about this anymore. Lion brought an end to that conversation before Will could say something rude again. Well, this chapel is a property of the family. So you're telling me to follow the family's rules? Is Beata even truly dead? I mean, she's fictional and she never was counted as a person before. Okay, she was counted once. There was a whole episode where she was like a real person, supposedly. But to be fair, there was 4 episodes where they thought Kinzo was a real person, so we can't trust anybody, ever. You will speak in a manner appropriate for a guest of a family. And you'll conduct all your conversations through me. I must ask that you follow those 2 rules. I'll work on that. The action of Bercastel, which have caused us all a great deal of inconvenience. Because of that, I'm willing to help you. However, both of us stand on even footing, so make sure you don't forget it. And I thought you were just some pampered rich kid. You got guts. I must be prepared to shoulder the Shrimia family's future, after all. Got it. Let's solve this crime together, Watson. I'm glad to have your cooperation. I wouldn't want to keep your dear cat Diana waiting. cat? Don't you need to feed her soon? I gave her extra food today, so she should be good for a while. I thought it was a girl! Okay, I misread everything again. I'm surprised you realized Diana was a cat. I figured the woman who scratches the sofas when you keep her waiting would be a bit too eccentric. I mean... So, who will you talk to first? Anyone. Everyone. Those ones over here are Krause's sibling, right? From right to left, there's Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi. Over here is Uncle Rudolph, Uncle Curie, Aunt Curie. And over here is Yoshiremiya Rosa. When she was a girl, she once got lost in the forest and bumped into a woman called herself Beatrice in the Hidden Mansion. I know you shouldn't be surprised anymore, but you really do know everything, don't you? I mean, I don't know who killed Beatrice, so you know what about this story too? I managed to overheard you saying this today. It looked as though it was bothering her, so I pretended not to hear. Real model student you are. Introduce me. I wanted to ask about it. You asking this of the model student who pretended not to hear because it might be a painful topic? Even this outrageous arrogance is nothing compared to Kinsa. After muttering this several times mentally, Lion shrugged and nodded at Will. It's our great successor. And who is this? Oh, Aunt Eva, this is Wilson. He came to offer flowers for the departed. But who cares about that? Tell me everything you know about... Oh. He says he wants to know about the deceased connection to the Shiremiya family. Nobody was acted like this with Erika for some reason, even though Erika was clumsy with talking to people. I wonder why this character needs like another character to talk for him. Is Will not seen? No. They literally acknowledge him just right here. He says he wants to know about the deceased collection of the Shiremiya family. Lion spoke with a bright smile while pinching Will's butt. Will silently protested at those, saying, even for a gog, that hurts! But Lion just played dumb and smiled at Eva like a model student. Okay. Your connection to the Shiremiya family? Well, what is there to say? It's probably more accurate to say your connection to father. We can be honest here, she's Dad's mistress. If you call her that, Natsuhine-san will yell at you again. He's indebted to her, right, Yago? Yeah, of course. Oh, wow, ha ha ha. So it's gonna be this type of relationship. I guess it was only a matter of time. What the hell? What does I guess it was only a matter of time mean? Damn. Well, here you have it. I have no interest in anyone but Rosa. I do believe that she said you met with Beatrice, Aunt Rosa. This whole time, Rosa had been hanging her head. Lansford made her shoulders quiver. She already suddenly came out with it today. It's a bit hard to believe. It's the truth! I killed Beatrice! Great, our work here is finished. Don't get ahead of yourself. Rosa broke down crying and laid her head on the table. Curie and Hideyoshi tried to console her. Rikijima is covered by a dense forest. We only know about one tiny portion of it, just the mansion, the rose garden, and a little path that leads to the harbor. Since ages ago, there have been stories about how Dad built a hidden mansion somewhere in the vast forest that no one knew about. And that it had his mistress living here. Rosa probably came upon that hidden mansion by chance. But Aunt Rosa, why would you say you killed Beatrice? If I hadn't taken her out, she never would have died. She was so innocent, like a chick. I took you out, so she just followed along obediently. She stayed right behind me, trusted me completely. And because I made her take such a dangerous path? Did you make her walk that way because you were hoping she'd slip and fall from a cliff? I never meant to do this. I just thought she'd like to see the ocean. No, it just looked like the path would be hard to walk, and I thought... Sorry? And I thought it would be easier going if we went down the cliff first. That's not what killing someone means. It was just an accident. It's an accident she never would have had if I hadn't brought her here with me, right? It's my fault. And then I abandoned her when she was covered in blood and ran home. It isn't your fault. Beatrice had never seen an ocean before. You showed it for her for the first time ever. She was probably so excited it just happened to take a bad step. How can you... Beatrice is grateful to you for what you did. Of course she doesn't hate you for it. Really? Is that... really true? Yo, she was the one who begged to see the world outside the fence, right? Though it was only for a short while, you made that dream of hers come true. If I were Beatrice, I would thank you for that short bit of time. If she knew that you've been suffering all this time for it, she'd probably feel bad herself. It would be funny if Butler and he's just skulking around the deep forest like a goblin. What? It's very unlikely, but I now can unsee the picture of Butler walking like a goblin in the middle of a forest. Pointless then. What is this? Oh no. Goblin Butler. This is so silly. Okay, on the other hand, I'm thinking... Not about Golden Butler. I'm thinking... They finally added the character who's gonna be reasonable about everything, which is nice. Oh, here we go! Hello! Butler is here. It's even more people! Why is Kinzo alive? Why is they still pretending like Kinzo's alive? Why do they both have blonde hair? Okay, maybe she's not Beatrice's child. Even though... Can't believe they all siblings and none of them, except for Butler and Angie, who had different mothers, by the way, had the same hair color. This is so annoying. Actually, no Angie here. Which is sad. Fuck them. Beatrice is grateful for you for what you did. You're the one who taught her that the sea is blue. Is that true? I guarantee it. Will made that statement openly and boldly. No one could tell how Rosa took those words. However, they had apparently been enough to remind her to take a handkerchief out of her pocket and wipe her eyes. Is Will gonna tell Natsuhi that it wasn't her fault for killing a child or something? I mean, she probably didn't kill a child in this timeline, or whatever. Thank you. Even now, Beatrice is whispering those words to you. Thank you. Rosa wiped her eyes with a handkerchief one more time and hung her head. It no longer looked like a fit of sobbing, but more as though she was speaking with the Beatrice of that day within her heart. One last time. Kinzo walked by. You're not alive, you're dead. You can't tell me otherwise. They said it in red like 600 million times that Kinzo is dead. If he's alive, that doesn't, like, you can't trust anything in this game. Anything. I mean, it's not a game. In the story. Anything. You might as well believe that Beatrice is real at this point, which she is definitely not. I mean, she was real at some point, but not right now. Okay, too complicated. It was a lot of confidence you put behind a claim to get back up. Back up? Is it really necessary to comfort a woman? I misjudged you a little. I mean, I could lend a possibility. If they're inconsistent on their own mechanics, It's just gonna make the story bad. It's gonna make stories so bad. They better have good explanation for all of this, for why the fuck Kinzo is alive again. For how many years had this tormented Rosa? Now, for the first time, Rosa would probably be able to face that innocently smiling Beatrice who had seen the ocean for the first time in her life. She was the only one who could forgive Rosa. Now the two of them could finally speak together. I don't know who you are, but thank you. I wonder if she forgives me. You beat yourself up about it nearly 20 years. It's far too long. She'll telling you to knock it off. That's right, Auntie Rosa. The more you grieve, the sadder Beatrice would be. You too. Thank you. I don't know if I will be forgiven, but I'll keep on speaking to my heart to see whether she'll forgive me or not. Thanks, you too. Sorry for showing you such an embarrassing side of me. And I'm sorry to say this right after saying something... And I'm sorry to say this right after saying something so pretty, but I want you to talk to me. Tell me what happened back then. Wilson! Thanks, but that's alright. I'll talk. Hiding this and keeping quiet about it for so long might have been my greatest sin. Exactly when it was when you made Beatrice. Upon hearing this question, Rosa closed her eyes slightly, reaching back to a past she didn't want to remember. We're gonna go through it again? It was about 20 years ago. 20. Or wait, it must have been 19 or 18 years... Oh, what? Oh. I'm sorry. I've tried to force myself to forget it for so long that I've never forgotten this part completely. It's a long existence. That what's the point? Cats and dogs living together. The end of the world, and all because of you! Points at Kinzo drinking water in the corner. He's not drinking water. You clearly don't know anything about kids, so he's only drink hard alcohol. So nitpicking. Sorry. It should have been 1967. Arnulf had guaranteed that with red shoes in the third game. That's right. It was probably about 1967. I can't remember what happened as clearly as a picture. I'll never forget. If it's tough for you, don't feel like you have to tell us. Yeah, it's clear as a picture, if you don't mind. Ah, damn it, that hurts, Lion. What does? I took it very hard when I found out that my tutor had told Mother about something I'd shared in confidence. I lost control of myself and ran deep into the forest. This tale had also been told in the previous fragments. Back then, when Rosa was just a kid, she had gone deep into the forest, found a hidden mansion, and met with a mysterious woman who called herself Beatrice. I remember. But that forest is so thick it's hard to move around, isn't it? I even surprised myself. Think that I made it so far into such a dense forest. I was tormented by twigs and sharp leaves over and over again. However, that wasn't enough to bother me on this day. After all, I wanted to disappear into the forest and vanish forever. This is becoming sexual assault by Lion. I hope it's not gonna go that far. After all, I wanted to disappear into the forest and vanish forever. If by some chance there really was a witch's mansion in the depths of a forest, I hoped that she might take me to the land of happiness, or else turn me into a frog and make me a resident of the forest. So, you ever reached the hidden mansion, Coelesti, and made a woman who called herself Beatrice? Yeah, I did. Was it Beatrice the same as the one in the portrait? Yeah, it was the same person. Beautiful blue eyes, golden hair, a black dress. It truly was subject for that portrait. When Father first had it hung, I realized that the 20 years I had spent trying to forget must have seemed as long for Father, if not even longer, and I was rocked by even greater guilt. Stop here. Are we sure that this is the same Beatrice that Rosa-san met? Immediately, Curie spoke the question that Will had been thinking of. It would be too rash to assume that Beatrice Kinzo met was the same person as the one Rosa met. The time and generations were different for each. Beatrice is supposed to be that lady of leisure who landed all those gold shortly after the war, right? Using Beatrice gold as a foundation, father revived the Oshirimiya family and got super rich. Then he brought Rikijima and moved over. Rosa-san's meeting must have been at least 10 years after that. A woman with a fierce control over 10 tons of gold could hardly be some little girl. The 10 more years passed after that before she met Rosa. Rosa. About how old did the Beatrice you met look? She looked older than I was at the time, but even so, it looked as though she might just be on the cusp of adulthood. Yes, exactly the sort of age of Beatrice in the portrait. Did she look middle-aged or past her prime? If I had to call her an adult or a child, she had clearly close to being a child. There's no way she was middle-aged. Isn't it strange? We have the Beatrice you met and the Beatrice who gave father the gold, but their ages don't match. In other words, they are different people. Different people who look very similar and have the same name. It might have been her daughter. It makes sense for them to look alike if they were a mother and a child. Her mistress' daughter. It is possible. Perhaps father had an illegitimate child with the Beatrice who gave him the gold. So the one Rosa bumped into was Beatrice's second. Make those ages work out nicely. I see. In other words, there are two people like Beatrice, called Beatrice. Kinzo secretly raised his mistress' child in a hidden mansion. That would make logical sense. Everyone agreed, nodding. However, Will's expression was slightly unsatisfied, and he scratched at his head. So, it would seem that this funeral exists for the two Beatrices he couldn't hold a ceremony for because he'd keep them secret. Rosa, I know you probably don't want to remember, but tell me about that accident. After Beatrice fell, was she still breathing? No. Her eyes were open wide. She fell upside down head first and knocked her head against the sharp crag on a rocky beach. This is awful, and she fell from such a height. Her skull had split and caved inwards. Ooh. I mean, this beautiful golden hair was stained with red blood almost instantly. Was it the sort of wound that showed at a glance that she was undoubtedly dead? Beatrice MK 2.0. Whoa. Yes, I saw the insides of your cracked head. Ooh, this is brutal. It had craved deep enough to fit your fist inside it. No one could be naive enough to see that and still hope she was alive. Well, do you really need to ask anything more? That's enough for the time of the accident. What did you do afterwards? I dashed away at full speed. I wasn't even thinking about calling for help. I wanted to escape from this place as fast as I could. Half crazed, sobbing, and out of breath, I kept on running about at random. Eventually, I came across a familiar lion statue. Oh, the one in front of a chapel? Explains a gruesome death. Oh, nice, this is brutal. Guilty, guilty. Oh, the one in front of a chapel? No, the one behind it. Anyway, it made it back to the mansion. I couldn't tell anyone, but I didn't want to. I stayed quiet until the nightfall. It was so horrible of me. If I had hurried and told someone, they might be brought her first aid kit and she might have been saved. How is this first aid kit going to help with the crushed cranium? You didn't kill her. Don't worry about this anymore. Then, what did you do next? That night, I turned over in my bed so many times, I couldn't sleep. Late at night, I quietly called Genji-san on the phone and told him. Ooh, Genji knows. Come to think of it. Imperial heart always works. Sarcasm again, just in case. Is it funny that you need to mention it every time? Okay, so Genji is the culprit. I solved the case. Genji is also known about Rosa, Natsuhi's dead child, who's alive now, presumably. What about Eva then? Stupid umineko, making it stupid, complicated mysteries. You don't know what you need to think about and what is real, what is not. Fuck them. What did he say? He told me to let him handle everything and to speak of this to no one. Okay, this is suspicious. I spent the next several days terrified that father would call for me and scold me brutally. But he didn't. Genji-san kept on doing his job quietly, just like normal, but the state locked up in his study not knowing any of it. At very least, none of us ever heard about it. Genji-san probably managed to clean everything up nicely. After all, I expected they couldn't let knowledge of this child go public. Even if she was an illegitimate child, she was his own flesh and blood. It must have been tough for father not being able to hold a real funeral for her. I guess that's why we're having this funeral. And then? That's all I know. And that's all I know too. I'm not hiding anything else. I've told you everything. I swear it. Will scratched at his head, letting his gaze wander. It had taken Rosa a lot of determination to make this confession, but it was nothing particularly special for Will. It had been little more than a review of information he already knew. Thank you for that, I guess. Maybe the real Beato is a friend we made along the way, repeated joke. What, she also died. God damn it, not again. Thanks, Aunt Rosa. Is this enough for you, Will? Are you satisfied? That's enough. It's a nice review. To Will, Rosa's memories gave only information that he already knew. This was the first time he'd heard all about her running back to the mansion after Beatrice fell for her death, but none of it was particularly surprising. He's not impressed either. Apparently, Rosa really didn't know any more than this. If he wanted to learn something beyond the fragments given to him by Bercastel, he would need to find new testimony. Plan. Tell Kinzer I want to talk to him. Look like we won't get anywhere without asking the man himself. Where are you going? Off to cool my head and organize my thoughts. Don't follow me. Well, pardon me for asking. Please take your time. After giving an elegant bow, Lion made a face, tongue sticking out. Unless Will had eyes in the back of his head, he couldn't have seen this last bit. Weird character. Oops. Will returned to the chapel by himself. The cold air and the monotonous sound of the rain were comforting. So, how's the game? And he had come here for a little peace and quiet. No sooner did he let out a sign of relief that that voice rang out. That's one for you to answer. She has nothing to do. It was as though she had been sitting here all along. Bercastel appeared on top of the altar once more. Apparently she found this particular altar extremely comfortable. What annoyed me over and over is his incompetence. You're very competent compared to him, so it's a lot easier to relax. Unlike Shemiya Butler's games, I have nothing standing in my way. It's easy. Their two games have already ended. Tales can be enjoyed twice. First you love them, then you tear out their guts. You think I'm a butcher? Well, do you think you know who killed Beatrice? Rosa's confession is something I already know from a previous fragment. There was no brand new information. We're still in a square one. Unless Shiromi Kinzo tell us what really happens, we won't get any further than that. Don't tell me that sweet talking Kinzo into spilling the beans. It's all part and parcel of this game. If it were, I'd die of boredom. Kinzo refused to speak of the truth and is himself the king protected by his castle. But it wouldn't be any fun to have that stand in the way of your game. I won't torture, it's not my style. I know that. As a game master, I will grant you power. That you can get the truth from kings, of course. Still wearing shoes, Picastel stepped into a casket, picked up the one flower that had been set as an offering, and blew hard as though scattering flour from a dandelion? Fuck, I can't say it. When she did, a single petal broke off and drifted towards Will, no longer gold, but still the shine of a transparent crystal. Dandelion. Is it? I feel like I'm not doing it correctly. Dandelion? Lion? Lion mentioned. The detective's authority? What's that pathetic ability? No, it is your invitation to the auditorium. The theater-going auditory? Granting this is supposed to be forbidden without authorization from the Senate. I'm granting it on my game board. Who's going to stop me? So, though the crystal flower petal danced in the wind, it wouldn't fly away anywhere until Will accepts it. Will remembered how useless it was to argue his wishes, and he snatched it up. When he did, the petals flashed brightly for an instant, melted into Will's palm and disappeared. Entertain me if you can, and try to enjoy yourself. You must also be interested in seeing what the gods of Beatrice's game board look like, right? Not really. After Will's rude answer, Castell vanished into air, leaving behind an obnoxious laugh. Where are we going? After clicking her tongue, Will turned around, visibly annoyed. When he did, it fell through his gaze crossed at a shadowy figure standing by the door in front of him that led outside. Who's here? Bother me! I heard a voice, so I wondered who it was. Ah, Shannon. You're running the reception desk this time? Yes, I've been taking interns with Cancun to run this reception desk. Literally! I mean, I am the Senate. Story Star Wars flashback. Pay no attention to it. He has been taking interns with Cancun to run the reception desk. And where is Canon? A short while ago, he was ordered by, Leon-sama to take a break, so he's resting now. Does Shannon not know Lion? Don't remember Lion's name yet? That's good. If it's actually true. So you don't know Lance either? Of course I... This is funny, this is nice. Shrimia Land is successor to the head, and only one permitted the silver ring. Why are you stumbling over that name when you worked here for 10 years? That's... Don't worry, I don't recognize Lion either. Kraus is supposed to be the successor to the head. Jessica is supposed to be his only child. There hasn't been a single fragment with anyone named Leon in the Shiremiya family. Upon hearing that Will didn't recognize Lion either, Sharon looked back at him in surprise. Apparently, she was a bit relieved to find that she wasn't going crazy by herself. Oh! So, he is like foreign agent here. What is he doing? He's like a spy? He doesn't know their names. Because he doesn't remember servants' names, he doesn't know their names because he's new here and he wasn't here for the last fragments. Really? Would he? So mysterious. Apparently, she was a bit relieved to find that she wasn't going crazy by herself. However, her expression quickly grew uncertain once more. Where is this place? I think it's the Shiremiya family chapel. However, something feels different about it. Also, I never knew someone named Leon-sama existed, and yet Madame Kraus-sama and Master Malady, all the relatives, all talk as though it's perfectly natural. I just don't understand what's happening. Line is a piece placed by Castell. She also said that she switched to a larger cat box to place a piece. On top of that, it seemed this world isn't a proper world, but one made out of several different fragments sewn together. Oh! Lion was imposter alone. Yeah, no, that doesn't work anymore, doesn't it? It's as though this is a special stage set up specifically for this game. I'm sure she's nodding at my thoughts right now, laughing and chomping down popcorn. How long have you worked here in this world? 10 years. Hmm? 10 years? Okay. What? How would this... So he actually doesn't remember them. Who the fuck is he? Even Erika knew all of them, isn't she? Fuck. I guess that's the reason they are here, including but not limited to your old enemy Kinza. It's a special stage, I guess. Routine fan service content or something. I see. So it really is a special stage. 2 times. After all, right when I entered this chapel, I spotted Kinza. If Shan has worked here for 10 years, then this is 1986, the stage of Beata's game. In this case, Kinza shouldn't exist. However, he definitely was here a few minutes ago. So nice that all of this is addressed. Oh! Time to take a break. Holy shit. Break 5 minutes, maybe a little more. Be right back. See ya in a minute. Oh, since you said you have run out of space for what, I've been recording it on my end. Just the scream characters. To best stop it or continue. It might take a while for what to be in YouTube, as you mentioned, with rendering all the other words, and I'll only have half of it. Also, sharing what is now a 40 minutes video might be tricky. No, it's okay. I can just download. Twitch has a function to download what's from Twitch. So it's fine. I can just download it afterwards. It's fine, it's fine. Freaking what? Jesus! What is so annoying? But people watch them, so unfortunately, you need to do them. I mean, they're not bad. They just take a lot of space. And I don't have time right now to keep up with them. I'm kind of busy and I need my PC all the time. And when you put something on rendering, it takes all the power of your PC and you can't use Photoshop or Blender or like anything. You can only watch videos, which is annoying. Yeah, but thank you. Thank you for recording my what? Why would you do it? But, I mean, do whatever you want. Who am I to tell you what to do? When I was running around on a break, I accidentally hit my pinky. It was awful. Yeah, rendering things sucks, especially if it gets corrupted. Yeah, true. You know, if you're rich and you're actually a streamer, normal people buy like the whole other laptop or notebook or like something, anything, PC, to do rendering on it, which is crazy for me. But they do it. That makes a lot of sense. But it's so expensive. Okay, let's continue with umineko. Ruka still promised that all of the information needed for reasoning has gathered here. She must have crammed all manners of stuff in here to make that true. I see, so it truly is a special stage. You have served the Ceremia family for many years, so just how much do you know about Beatrice? I know the master loved you deeply, but other than that... Is this all? And, they say that she's the master of Rokujima's night. That's right. The name of a ghost rumored to wander the mansion night after night is also Beatrice. That brings the number of Beatrices to 3. Oh, he knows! What the fuck? He knows everything. The first of a Beatrice from more than 30 years ago, who is said to have given Kinzo the gold. The second is a Beatrice from 20 years ago, who met Rosa. And the third is a Beatrice of the ghost stories, who is rumored to be master of a night with Rokijima. They are different. Those two, the one in the middle and one to the side, has different eyes. Like they have different... Does they? They kinda do. Are they actually different people? Am I seeing things? Furudo Erika's reasoning was probably correct. It started out as a legend of the evil spirit Sakurakijima. Later on, elements such as Kinzo's gold hobbies, the name and the portrait of a mysterious woman Beatrice, and the epitaph got mixed up, and it all fast into a legend of a golden witch. My pinky hurts. And so the darkness of a night gained the personality of a witch, that's the third Beatrice, that is the veil that serial killers hides behind. Apparently she didn't understand the words of Will's sudden monologue. Shannon tried to follow along, but she seemed to be having difficulty. That's the veil the serial killer hides behind. Are we sure that there is a serial killer? Shannon tried to follow along, but she seemed to be having difficulty. Don't waste your time trying to understand. You just get a headache. Well, my apologies. Kanan doesn't know Lion either, right? Yes, Kanan-kun was the same as me. Shannon and Kanan, huh? Call Kanan over here. I want to talk to the pair of you about something. When Will said this word, Chan's face went blank and her eyes went wide. My apologies. We aren't allowed to leave the reception desk unnamed, so I can't leave it to get him. Then find a replacement and have them take over the reception desk until you get back. You, me, and Kanan. We, the 3 people who don't know Leon, need to talk. We've been told that the one person is enough to run the reception desk. But no one told you there was anything wrong with the 2 people manning it, right? We are low on helpers today, so we were told that the reception desk does not require 2 people manning it. Why are you doing this? It does seem like one of them had a very slightly different eye color, but it might be just a different face expression in shadows. We will see, I guess. Why is she so stubborn? Who gave you that order? Kinzo? Kraus? Or was it Leon? I will ask about it. Uh-oh! It was the one who orders me. I cannot disobey orders. Who is this person? I'll negotiate with them. You cannot negotiate. It is the one who orders us. Call Kanan over here. I hate theater going just as much as I hate torture. Slowly, Will pulled his hand right out of his pocket. Oh, he can do it? Then he slowly opened his fist. A small, bright glow emanated from it. The flower petal that Castell had given him had become a glowing birthmark, which sparkled. He held that hand out towards Shannon and slowly approached her. Call Kanan. I want to check something with you two. I cannot call him. Do you still wish for me to do so? If you can't call him, I'm going to watch you play. If you insist, I can call him especially. What's going on? There was some kind of incomprehensible tension between the two. Will stood here, his left hand still in pocket and his right palm glowing and stretched out towards her. Shan just stood here, her hands still folded politely in front of her, her posture beautiful. And yet, it felt oddly as though raindrops were sparking and crackling in midair. Shannon, girl, robot? I will not call Kanan-kun. Do you wish to proceed? Will's expression had remained uncharged the whole time. Shan's face was still kind and gentle, and yet the tension was as icy as a frozen lake. Beginners in chess will sometimes move their kings into a check without noticing. One might mercilessly capture the king in such situation, but high-level players are supposed to calmly warn beginners about their mistake. If you take one more step, you'll get captured. It was similar to that. I see. So, after all... I get it. That's enough. You guys can take it in turns to run the reception desk. Slowly, Will lowered his hand. What happened? What was it? Thank you for understanding. The glow slowly vanished from Will's palm. That completely incomprehensible tension melted away. Was she actually acted as peace and she couldn't disobey orders, or like a sugar cube in water? However, nothing changed since the beginning. What happened? You're asking the wrong person. However, it's a rhetorical question. However, nothing had changed since the beginning. Will's expression and Shannon's expression were the same as they always had been. Oh, are you leaving? Footsteps approached them. It was Lion. I'm just standing here, talking. I wanted to ask you something. What could it be? Did you find what you're looking for? Yeah. I'm honored to have been of service. That's a shame. If you were looking for an umbrella, I could have gotten you one right away. Did you convince Kinzo? I told him that a rare guest wanted to greet him. He said he'll meet with you. Did you tell him that I wanted to ask about Beatrice? Isn't that your job? With a slightly mischievous look, Lion turned away. Will scratched his head and shrugged, looking annoyed. Oh well, yes, I'll get a chance to try this out. Will opened his right hand and showed it to Lion. It was just a hand without anything remotely remarkable about it. Lion's head tilted to the side in bafflement at this strange gesture. Good work. Your name was... It's Shannon. That's right, Shannon. Please continue making the reception desk. Make sure you keep warm. Thank you very much, Leon-sama. Shannon bowed deeply in response to Leon's kind words. There was not even a trace of tension in her manner. Let's go, Will. You want to miss your chance. You don't want to miss your chance. The head's mood changes quicker than the autumn sky. Good luck. Let's go. Two songs was playing at the same time. Ushirimiya Kinzo. Rip. I brought Williardson. Kinzo and Genji could have seen in a VIP room. Kinzo was sitting back in a chair, his eyes closed as though in a troubled sleep. My lord, the guest has come to see you. Kinzo slowly opened his eyes. Those eyes were red from crying. They regained their focus and slowly fell on Will. I am Ushirimiya Kinzo. Well, I'm Williard. Allow me to express my condolences. So, you come to visit Beatrice's funeral. Just who are you? I'm no one. I have no connection with anyone. Don't think too deeply about it. You'll just get a headache. Ow! I'll ask that you choose your words a little bit more carefully. What a strange guest. So, what business do you have with me? I want to ask about Beatrice. What? Kin's gaze grew sharp. Lan felt a bit lighthearted and wondered why this guy had to be so direct. Why do you ask? I thought you wouldn't know one. Why do you want to know about Beatrice? What purpose could it serve? Because I am no one. I can listen to a tale without bias and record it. You will probably leave this world before too long. If you die without saying anything about Beatrice, your children will adorn you with their own fanciful tales and write them into history. You entertain me, boy. You think yourself a testament taker? But this is wholly unnecessary. Beatrice is mine alone. No matter what anyone says, no one can defile our story. What they say is of no consequence. No matter how Kraus and the others misconstrue it, it matters nothing to me. Williard-sama, the master does not like wills. He is not one to abandon anything while he still lives. Probably true. I thought it sounded a bit unlike him. The spirit to struggle onwards to our dying breath is what makes us human. The idea that I would give up before my time and leave behind a will is laughably absurd. Yeah, that does sound a bit more like you. It's not your style to ask someone to write about the past just because you feel you might die soon. We know how deeply you loved Beatrice-sama. You're the model most worthy of respect and any of us know, and an example for us to follow in every aspect of our lives. Please, for the sake of us wandering souls, may we learn of how you loved her to the last, how you love for her guided you through life, and the strength of your love for her, so that your story might guide us through our own lives? You're pretty good at this. It's your fault for being so tasteless. Boy, what do you know of Beatrice? A truly ignorant person would not hold any interest at all. The mere fact that you know her name shows that you are neither ignorant nor unconnected. Good point. The Beatrice I know of is the woman you loved, the one the meet before the mansion under Kojima was ever built. However, she probably departed from this world, leaving behind a daughter. That is the girl who was raised in Coelesti. Williard-sama, there is no building known as Coelesti on Lord Kojima. Excuse me, it was said and read. Why are you trying to lie to me? That name, Coelesti. You mentioned it when we were talking at Wizard Rosa 2. What in the world does it mean? You should have an idea by now. It's the name of a hidden mansion deep in the forest where his mistress' daughter lived. Interesting. So you actually know the name of Coelesti. Continue. You have sparked my interest. Kinza shrugged and grinned. The one living in Coelesti was probably Beatrice's daughter. However, it seemed that you didn't think of her this way. Then how did I think of her? When the Ushinomiya Rosa went to Coelesti, Beatrice told you a little about yourself. In that conversation, she referred to you as Kinzo. It was the same when she spoke to you directly. Though she said she thought of you as father, she didn't call you father. She either didn't call you that, or she wasn't allowed to call you that. Beatrice Butler parallels? That can only mean one thing. And what might it be? Reincarnation. You didn't think of your daughter as a child Beatrice left behind. You believe that the dead Beatrice had revived into a new body. Genji. Once in the past, you spoke in front of Natsuhi and several other family members, stating that there had never been a child between Kinzo and Beatrice. I have no memory of saying this. This is good again. At this point, anything in red probably doesn't mean anything until mentioned on the special stage. Insert initial D joke that I'm too tried to make, though it seemed like they do address that fact. But it should, though. It should mean everything. I mean, red should probably mean everything unless they mention that it doesn't. And not the opposite way. I have no memory of saying this. Yeah, Genji, you know. Of course, this game's Genji probably won't remember that. However, near the end of the first game, when the survivors all gathered in Kinzo's study, Genji was asked whether Kinzo and Beatrice ever had a child together, and he denied it, saying, "I have not heard of anything like that." I have not heard that. In a way, it was perfect sort of answer for one of Kinzo's confidence. After all, in Kinzo's eyes, she wasn't a daughter, but Beatrice reborn. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I will not let you slander the family head. It isn't slander, it's reasoning. However, I understand the heart. Beatrice was the woman you loved the most. She remained this way, even after the death, for all eternity and without fading in the slightest. However, given the child's blue eyes, beautiful blonde hair, and facial features which resemble Beatrice from a young age, you had gradually begun to think that she might actually be Beatrice reborn. That wouldn't be surprising. My lord, shall I? Shall I throw this insolent man out? Genji asked Kinzo. For a while Kinzo hung his head in silence, as though remembering something from his own past. Your daughter grew to be beautiful and nearly identical to her mother. You must have been ecstatic. However, it's doubtful that you were fully satisfied by this. After all, though she was Beatrice reborn to you, she didn't feel the way herself. How can you know that? She couldn't shake the feeling that there was something out of place about you being called Beatrice. People never feel anything out of place about the name they were given at the time of their birth. However, she did have that feeling. That must have meant that she was aware that the name Beatrice was not hers. In Ecuadorian, she asked both Kinzo and Rosa about who she was. Who am I? Everyone calls me Beatrice, and it does certainly seem to be the name of a great witch, as you say. But it's not me. I cannot use any magic. I simply have a soul of that witch sealed inside my body. At this point, Beatrice Reborn sounds like its own game. It does! Umineko Reborn could also work. At name, at least. Sorry on story. Tried a little hee-hee. Beatrice Reborn sounds good. I agree. Umineko Reborn. Umineko Reborn is a name for a sequel of Umineko, for sure. Oh my god, and it's actually going to be somebody reborn in it? And it's gonna be like a survivor from Jeremiah family from this cycle. It could be good. It could be good. Her memory would have returned. She was without a doubt Beatrice Reborn. Her memory was coming back bit by bit. My magical rituals will help her regain her memories one little bit at a time. Grandfather. There is no need to be surprised. If you line up the information in all the games so far, this is the answer it leads you to. The Beatrice on the higher plane talked about this in metaphor, saying that Kinzo refused to let the witch's soul escape, even after her death, and instead caught it and locked it in the body of flesh. I remember. She also said that her power and memory had been sealed. If you match that interpretation of hers into this theory, it makes sense. Williard-sama. Thanks to powerful magical ritual, the master gained a reborn child of a late Beatrice-sama. That cannot be denied. I won't contradict the stork, and I don't intend to doubt the depths of Kinzo's love for this woman called Beatrice. It's no one's business how a person chooses to show their affection towards the only living reminder of a departed. If she grew to look more and more like Beatrice, and Kinzo's love gave rise to a new special emotion, I find this a very human reaction. You think you can understand my love? I mean, you know, you're a human being, I'm a human being. I'm not qualified to understand it. However, I'm also not qualified to deny it. Oh, Beatrice, please, forgive me. Kinzo sobbed quietly for a while, wiping away his tears. Because of love, he believed she was Beatrice reborn and raised her this way. However, somewhere in his heart, he might have felt pang of conscience, telling him that he might be forcing his emotions on someone who wasn't really Beatrice. Then the Beatrice of Ecuadorian had an unexpected guest, Rosa. Unable to believe that she was the Beatrice that Kinza desired, and suffering from her inability to understand who she was, she expressed a desire to escape to the outside world. What? We kinda knew all of this. What's the point of a recap? Yeah. No graphic images of dead bodies, we know. And she fell from a cliff and died. Genji had a death which couldn't become public knowledge very quietly. Funerals aren't for the dead, they exist so that those who are alive can sever their ties with the dead. You could never do this. That's why it festered within you. Sorry, couldn't resist. Rickroll laying here in the open. Have no idea what you're talking about. Probably some song. Beatrice. Oh, grandfather. Good thing then. You lost your mistresses. No, you lost Beatrice twice. Unable to let that sorrow show on the outside, you kept it locked up in your heart, and it eventually festered and turned to madness. That's what spurred on your abnormally strong interest in occult in your later years. Oh, Beatrice, why? Why did you leave me twice? So true, that's the question I ask. Your smile, that beautiful hair, those eyes. Why did you die in my arms not once, but twice? What about your personality, Is that how much you... By now, Kinza wasn't even trying to suppress his sobs. Sometimes he scratched at his head in anguish. Other times he faced the heavens like an opera singer. Will goes in, talks to everybody, comforting woman, makes men cry. What a man. Kinza yelled over and over again, repeating Beatrice's name. At this moment, there was a quiet sound of a door closing. And when they turned around, she was already here. Kumasawa had appeared. Oh, Kumasawa should know something. Ask her! If they already know this much, perhaps we can tell them the rest? No, if they know this much, I don't believe there is anything more to tell. No, we should tell them. As a woman, I've always thought that the heart of Ecuadorian Beatrice is a story that should be told. And now someone has appeared who is worthy to hear it. I believe that now is the time to tell all without holding back. New information? No way. Kumasawa-san, do you know something? About Beatrice? Of course she does. In the fourth game, we have testimony from the ferryboat captain saying that Kumasawa went in and out of Ecuadorian. I'd be willing to bet that Kumasawa had different workships at the mansion in Ecuadorian. There was a young girl to be taken care of. Kumasawa, with her long experience in taking care of children, must have been of immense value. That is correct. You might even call me favorite nurse. No way! I can't believe it! So everything Will-san is saying is truth. I wonder how meeting of Will and Butler would go. Will probably happen, so I guess we'll see. Is this sarcasm? Why wouldn't it happen? It probably happened, so I guess we'll see. Why wouldn't it happen, though? It should. It shouldn't? Yes, it is a fact. There was a secret mansion constructed on the opposite side of the island for Beatrice-sama. Being circumcised for the nice. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time understanding sometimes. It's hard to talk to people whose face you can see. You know? Oh, did I? No, yeah, it was that. Oops. Oh, the existence of Corridorian is the truth. I don't know when Kinzo married his official wife, but back when Kinzo already had an enormous store of wells and had brought Kirukijima's hole, he built a mansion and set up 2 separate lives. Kinzo's children had also been aware of Kinzo clandestine eccentricities at the time. It probably hadn't been easy to set up 2 lives. Moreover, Kinzo's wife had been suspicious and had sniffed around all the time. This is fucked up. The master stayed in Covadorian as much as time allowed. He would sometimes pretend to go to a business trip and stay here for several days. Whoa. Treasuring the time he spent with Beatrice-sama. It's not simply a father-daughter relationship. You should be careful what you're gonna say next. You could sometimes catch a glimpse of his great love for the late Beatrice-sama, and it was his heartwarming thing, okay? Nothing concrete. The way you say it makes it sound like he sometimes treated her as a substitute for Beatrice. It has sounded this way, my apologies. Beatrice-sama probably accepted her father's love. However, I will not deny that she was sometimes forced to bear a love she didn't understand. Kumasawa's tone made it sound as though she was scolding Kinzo. Kinzo is right here, by the way, he's in a room. As a mother who had raised many kids. Also, I can't really have a sarcastic tone of voice. I guess it's sarcastic tone of writing. Anyways, umineko. As a mother who had raised many kids, Kumasawa had probably spotted that Kinzo's love was often of a mistaken sort. However, the more the girl grew to look like her mother, the more distorted and twisted Kinzo's heart became. Because of this deep love, it grew very, very twisted. You are right to scold me, my friend. I understand. My love is eternal and undying. However, there were times that I directed it at the wrong person, and I must acknowledge that... Grandfather, wait, you don't mean... Leon-sama. All humans in this world are tied to each other. Even if they did not notice, there is always some sort of tie. Those ties wrap themselves around people and bring them together. No way! Grandfather! Just as Kinzo had done, Leon also wiped away tears and stared down at the floor. Apparently the two truths had become too much of a shock for the young successor to handle. Huh? How did he not know? Didn't he read the games from before? Oops, sorry. My lord. Perhaps this time has come to speak of it. I see. So this time has come, my friend. Unless you tell us, none of the truth will become clear. My lord, I believe they may have the qualification and the right to know. I know. Perhaps on this day of my fickle funeral, Beatrice in heaven will give me a chance to atone. Forgive me for not telling you this before now. After taking a deep breath, Kinzo finally lowered his hands that had been covering his face and looked at Will and Lion with those red eyes. So, 2 guys who was just here accidentally, on purpose, they deserve to know the truth about Beatrice, but people who actual children and who was dying in this game for you over and over and over and over again, I don't? Well, cool, thanks. Huh. Grandfather, shut up, Leon. He listened to Leon. Guessed. Williard, was it? Yeah. I thank you for giving me a chance to speak of the truth while I'm still able. You are surely be messenger from heaven sent by Beatrice. You have my gratitude. Beatrice isn't the only one you have to thank. It was some witch. Well, I guess they're both witches. I do not care who was it. I have been given a chance. That is enough. Thank you, Williard. Kinzo slowly stood up and held out his right hand. He was offering to shake hands. It must have been Kinzo's way of expressing his gratitude. But of course, Will did put all of his character points on charisma. Damn. Will responded. Then the 2 hands gripped each other tightly in silence. When they did, a bright light poured out from the gap between the 2 hands. It felt as though something the size of a grain had burned itself onto his palm. It was the power that Bercastel had given him. The light grew brighter and brighter. Flashback power? However, it seemed that Kinzo and the others would not see it. Now I will speak. I met Beatrice. Beatrice Castiglioni, just before the end of the war. She came from across the sea. It's actually flashback power, no way. Is it? Widescreen? Mwah. Who? Who? Kinzo? So, are you Kinzo? It's how grandfather looked in the past. I've seen photos. Just what on earth? It's the theater-going powers that Castell gave me. Why? Can you just go here, Leon? Don't try to understand. I'll just get the headache. You're getting the hang of it. At one time, Genji told Butler that he'd look like Kinzo in his youth. I mean, they kinda have the same facial expression, I guess. Sure enough, though the young Kinzo wasn't exactly the same as Butler, they looked very similar. Allow me to introduce myself again. I am Shiremiya Kinzo. Grandfather! Even the voice seemed to resemble Butler somehow. Clearly, Butler had inherited Kinzo's blood more thickly than any other. I did not want to succeed the Shiremiya family headship. My being chosen at the head was nothing more than the prank of fate. In the great counter-earthquake, those in charge passed away and you were selected from the branch families. That's correct. After all, Grandfather was wise despite his youth, and he already possessed a dignity fitting for the headship. Ridiculous. Those greedy elders were so intent on looking out for their own personal interest they couldn't even decide on a new head. They were like fools arguing about who the new captain should be on sinking ship. So, since you had no connections with anyone in the main family, you were selected right out of blue. It's because of my toes. If only I have one fewer toe on each foot, my life had turned out quite differently. So good, it's so good, it's so good. It's my favorite part. Fucking toes. Damn it. So true. In the Shiremiya family, polydacty was seen as a sign of a good fortune. So that's how you get the nice rhyme parallel then. The person that is the most similar to Kinzo also ends up loving the same person, in this case Beatrice. I mean... I don't think their situation that similar. I mean, they do love the same person. But in Kinzo's case, he just met Beatrice, probably. We find out right now. In Butler's case, Beatrice was made for him, in a way. For some reason. You know, Shiremiya... It's actually really weird. How the fuck does this work? They just have similar taste in women. In the Shiremiya family, polydacty was seen as a sign of a good fortune. It was because it was a common factor among many of the great in the family's history. How the fuck did you get polydacty in your family as a gene question? It was all very pathetic. The elders didn't care whom they dragged in as long as it wouldn't favor any of them over the others. So they just happened to hear that someone in one of the branches' families had 6 toes and decided that would be well enough. Precisely. The elders didn't care what sort of novice became the head as long as they could make him their puppet. In fact, the more ignorant this person was of how to lead, the better it would be for them. Grandfather, Leon, it's quite different in your case. You will be the one who inherits everything I have. This is a fate you were granted on the day of your birth. This is why I gave you the silver ring and raised you so strictly. You are quite different from me. You are already a splendid successor to whom no one could be ashamed. Yes, sir. Was he? How's he different from Butler, or like Jessica, or anybody else? A puppet hair, huh? I doubt it couldn't be easy. As he pondered about where to begin, Kinsey laughed bitterly. It would probably bring back nothing but painful memories, no matter where he started from. It lasted for long, that span of a grain days, that mind-numbing stretch of time I spent dead, passed like moss growing on a rock. It became the rope in a tug-of-war between the elders who thought of nothing but their own profit, and they probably could have snapped at any moment. However, people are far more resilient than the one would think. Though I spent so many days like a dead man, I was not killed. So I would have searched for death on my own. What? What are you talking about? The moon? Tsukihime reference? The next thing you knew, I had reached the age that I could no longer refer to myself as young without drawing laughter from those who were. They were long, dreary, grey days without any substance, and they lasted for a full 20 years. In 20 years, a person can be born, find a purpose, and even become their own man with their own place in the world. In short, it only truly becomes a human only when they have become a working adult. Uh-oh. They spent an amount of time long enough to create a human, doing nothing except playing the part of a puppet or to those greedy old men. Ironically, though the time aged my body, it did not age my mind. In my heart, I was still young, and I looked back fondly on the fulfilling days before I was summoned to Odawara. Only my body continued to age, and at some point the gulf between the two had widened to the point that it was hard to comprehend. So I could hardly believe that the worn-out man in a mirror was really me. No, it really wasn't me. I was the head of Shiramira family in a name only. I had no rights, no autonomy. There was no need for me to do anything other than what was asked of me. I was just a doll sitting here on a shelf gathering dust. I remember nothing but lazily flipping through Western books I liked, locking myself in my own world, doing nothing but playing with roses and drinking terrible drinks. And it lasted a full 20 years. Before I knew it, I had a stranger for a wife. It wasn't any wife I had chosen. She was someone that the elders had chosen and forced me on their own reasons, the daughter of some noble family or something, but that hardly mattered to me. I did not love my wife, but neither did I dislike her. I just didn't care. I fathered a few children, but that wasn't out of love for my wife. They were just born before I knew it. That's all there was to it. None of it mattered. No, that's not quite right. Everything was decided by someone other than me, and I simply obeyed. That was the job of the Ushiramiya family had. On some level, I felt as though my life was being slowly and quietly snuffed out. I can't believe it! You've always been praised for being such a bold and wise ruler, and yet you lived like this for so long! Leon, there is nothing so long and insubstantial as your life, as a life you do not live for yourself, and yet it passes in a blink. Take this to heart. A life you live for yourself. Living means having your own will. You probably were dead during this time. Precisely. I wanted to live. No, I wanted to die. What must a puppet do to die? Cut the strings. Correct. That would be death, it would be life, and it would be release. Before I realized it, the world had grown troubled. World War II The Pacific War. Japan had extended their war front too far to the east and west, and the tide of war was changing. Oh. Drinking terrible drinks for 20 years. Oh, so see... So he did play the umineko drinking game, poor soul. Thanks to the influence of the elders, I was able to avoid conscription. Of course, this was not out of compassion for me. It was just because I was their precious puppet. So the war never really felt that close to me. However, when I personally decided to abandon their protection, it was very easy. At the time, the Uchiramiya family had almost completely collapsed, and since the elders had apparently pilfered enough of the scraps to last them the rest of their lives, they seemed to care for what I did, now that they no longer had any use for me. They seem to not care for what I did. They seemed to care little for what I did. So I realized that I had finally found my time to die. One by one, I cut the threads I was hanging from and began to search for the place to end my life. Ambitious? So you search for death on the battlefield. I thought that if I was going to die anyway, I should try to be some use to someone. Nah, that's a lie. I probably just lacked the willpower to end my own life. War was a suitable excuse for death. I heard that your knowledge in public works and constructions led you for being tasked with setting up facilities for the Navy construction team. And what a miscalculation was that. If I had just said that I had no useful skills, I would have been sent to the front lines where I could die at the moment's notice. So I ended up not having to go to the front lines. Some of the others were overjoyed at their luck. It was the opposite for me. My only desire was to get my hands on the intoxicating liquor of battle and drink myself to death. It's all drinking metaphors with Kinzo. The US planes did nothing but cut across the skies of this forsaken island. They didn't leave even a bullet to spare for me, much less a bomb. Shut up. And this time you met Beatrice, grandfather? Correct. She came to me from the sea. Where did you meet her? You mentioned an island. It was here. She came to this island. So you met here on Rokijima? What's going on? I heard that Rokijima was uninhabited until you brought it, grandfather. I never knew there was a Japanese military base here. Yeah, you can hardly call it a military base. It was just a cave. I was one of the guards of the cave. (1944). Close to the end of the war. Due to honorable defeats at Saipan and Guam, Japanese absolute national defense zone strategy was in shambles. Where had the gallantry of the start of the war gone? The old attackers were now the ones on the defensive. At the time, it was said that the final trump cards for the Japanese military were so-called special attack weapons. It was said that these ultimate weapons were packed with 1.55 ton of explosives. Suspicious? And capable of sinking any kind of warp ship with a single blast. To straighten homeland defense, the Navy drafted a plan to build a string of hidden bases from Hachijojima to Yokosuka, all the hull submarines loaded with the special attack weapons. I knew that there was a base constructed in Hachijojima. To think there was one in Rokijima too. Just what sort of fool decided it would be a good idea to plant a base on this desolate island? I have no idea. To better preserve its secrecy? Ridiculous. I could never understand what the higher-ups were thinking, and I didn't particularly care. These truly were ultimate weapons, able to take down a large warship in a single strike. It was hoped about the presence of submarines capable of loading these weapons in the waters just off of Japan would allow for a powerful sea ambush as a final line of defense. So, to aid in establishment of a base with absolute secrecy, the uninhabited island Rokijima was raised as a possible candidate. An investigation of this island resulted in the discovery of a large cave and cliffs, and this was apparently deemed to be a suitable location for a submarine base. So, you were tasked with aiding the establishment of this base? Establishment? Certainly if you can call digging out the cave establishment. Not only that, the base was abandoned before its completion. Why? Because at the time Japan no longer had any submarines large enough to carry out those weapons. How truly laughable. What's the point in having a submarine base if there aren't any submarines left? Did they take them away? Do you still have them? Did you buy the island because you knew about this? No, they for sure should have taken it away. It would be insane that they didn't. If there's one thing that never changes, it's politician and their meaningless projects. How would they take it away if nothing can take them out of here? The base of Hachijima was actually outfitted with those weapons and became a base for direct attacks, but Rokijima had never supplied with any. Okay. Not only that, they cancelled the construction work early. Also, you... I'm sorry for being dumb and slow and not understanding what's going on. So you're saying on Rokijima, you only started to do cave and you didn't actually have any weapons? Base was abandoned before its completion. Sorry. It seems like there is no weapons in Rokijima. Okay, sorry. Not only that, they cancelled the construction works early, leaving only a crew of minimal size stationed on the island, waiting for orders from above that never came. Could it be that the fact that it was here in base sealed our fate? The higher-ups had already completely forgot about this useless and pointless covering. We were nothing more than guards of a mere cave. Okay, no weapons then. Good. We spent our days farming, fishing, and playing in the dirt. All the while gazing up at the American formation flying past. Some of our group were relieved at the prospect of the war ending before anyone remembered we were here, and before any of us had to face the real battle. Of course, it was the opposite for me. I hoped beyond hope that for the American troops to advance and kill me as soon as possible, and then, on one of those hollow days, let us go back here now. Back to the turning point in my life and my fate. I swear to God, if Beatrice gonna... like... I don't know. If Beatrice was on a ship and her ship is broke and she got here from the broken ship or something like that, it's gonna be so dumb. It seemed like there was no weapons on the island. Thank God. I think Umineko doesn't need another story, but now they have warship shells and warheads. I mean, they have anime girls who's like military, so maybe they are like gijinkas for some weapons or something. No. What's the turning point in my life and my fate? When Shiremiya Kinzo finally became alive. We don't talk about this never again. We talk whole chapter about nothing. At least we find out about the cave from Rokijima. Solar Republic. Huh? What's that mean? Step it up! What are you doing, slacking off when fighting so close? Stars seem to spin around inside my head. I could just lie down on the floor, but that only make him more angry. I have no intentions of being obedient. Still, it'd be stupid to get myself punched for no reason, so I got up and stood at attention. The fighting's close, is it? You really think the American troops are likely to show up on this forgotten island? Then let them come right now. That's what I've been waiting for all this time. What this cowardly look you're wearing? Is this how afraid you are of death? Are you so scared of those Americans? Americans? You won't be killing any of them with an attitude like this. Oh no. They hit me again. Could you please quit your whining already? Filthy cowards. They give themselves over to this inexplicable anger because it's the only way to distract themselves from their own fear. Heart and spirit aren't any use when the battle becomes hopeless. When trapped by an insurmountable hopelessness, humans rely on several others' emotions to escape their fear. These young and experienced soldiers found anger to be a very convenient emotion to fall back upon. They did drills by shouting in light voices and swinging their bamboo spears around. Drinking the wine called anger was simply what they needed to do to numb their fear. The more one drinks wine, the more one needs to drink to get drunk. Their useless anger continued to pile up day by day without pause. As for me, I did not fear death, so I had no need of a wine called anger. This made their cowardice all the more apparent to me. Here you go again, that look in your eyes. Ushiramiya, your spirit is rotten to the core. You're a fish, that's what you are. You've got an eyes of a dead fish. Ooh. Oh my god, this is like Angie was before. Somebody bit the shit out of her here too. Awful. However, it went both ways. Just as I was able to spot their cowardice, they were able to pick up on my lethargy. Is it rational? Ooh. Is it rational to beat the shit out of your soldier when the enemy is so near you? Is Ushiramiya Kinzo here? The lieutenant's looking for you. Stand up! No slouching about! Double time! First Lieutenant Yamamoto was the commanding officer in charge of Rokijima garrison. Oh, so this part was a base. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, kinda. I mean, they said it was construction here, so I thought maybe they constructed it on the construction? Oh, but seemingly nobody from family knew about this, and the family was the main people who did any construction here. He was just another filthy coward trying to forget the fear with violence, and would reprimand his subordinates for slacking off at the drop of a hat. Yeah, I remember this one. They had an anime battle here. The stories they sadly turned into umineko turned into sport anime here. I remember. The stories of this life he'd spout off and in a good mood were all about how much of a thug he has been, ignoring the rules of society. On and on about how so-and-so was a prick, so he taught them a lesson, or how everyone was so scared of him that he got special treatment. He kept on talking about what a vile human he was, though it was a badge of honor. Normally, I had nothing to do with the disagreeable lieutenant. He would always hang around with his non-commissioned subordinates, so as long as I treated him with a snappy salute, I could more or less ignore him for a time being. Now that the construction project on this island had been suspended indefinitely, there was no longer any use for an engineer like me. So why did the lieutenant ask for me specifically? At this moment, I couldn't think of anything. Beato? 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 Not really, but many things are in play in soldier treatment stuff. Many World War II Japanese officers are known to have done bad things, to say it lightly, to their subordinates, and they then did other bad things, again, to say it slightly, to civilians and countries they invaded. It's messy, to say the least. I mean, I understand it, but I don't know, it just seemed irrational in the moment to do it. But obviously, yeah, I'm kind of aware of existence. The bad stuff that soldiers did. Ushiramiya, I've heard you good at speaking foreign languages. Is it true? I'm proficient both in English and Chinese, sir. Ooh. That's nice. The lieutenant liked to brag about his education in front of the non-commissioned officers, but he held a bit of a grudge against me for being even more highly educated than him. He also felt uncomfortable about having me as a subordinate because he was younger than me, so was definitely not the kind of person he could hit off with. Just the fact that I knew several languages must have hurt his pride. Really? What about Italian? Do you speak that? Oh, she is Italian! That's why your name is Beatrice! I don't know. I thought it was just because. I thought it was just a reference. But she is actually Italian. Oh, well. Well. I'm afraid not. So you wouldn't be much help as an Italian interpreter. That there is a lot of irrational stuff in military stubbornness at this point. Anyway, umineko, I'm skip focused. It could be possible if one of them speak English as well, sir. Ah, yes, very true. Have you ever talked with a foreigner in English? I have, sir. Why on earth would he need an entrepreneur in the cave of an uninhabited island that even our superiors have forgotten? His question made it clear that someone who would need an interpreter would be visiting Rokijima. How about having a military base play into locked room mysteries? Is there some devices that they have here that they could use later? Did Kinzo specifically build Rokijima on top of the base or something? I mean, he did. We know that he did, kinda. Good! Ushiramiya, you'll be my interpreter. That's an order. Sure. That evening, I found out exactly what he was talking about. Beato. Sorry. New song. The pointless common submarine dock that had been never used was now being approached slowly by a submarine in the Italian Navy. Excuse me? Oh shit! Okay. It was Italian because they were... because they were Nazis too, right? Was there? Were they? I have really bad notion of history. But they were like Italian and Mussolini. Yeah, they were for sure. Japan and Germany. Oh, holy! It does make sense. That's nice. What was it when? Oh, I had to say, why the fuck everything looks so fucking scratchy? If they just built this, huh? Why is everything look like trash? Is that normal? There were a lot of international stuff in the military. There is a giant lowbird deep in this island, obviously. I didn't even need to clarify the way. Yeah, Italy, Germany, and Japan. Holy. This song is like, the singer is going on about it. Damn. Oh, did you know the giant Gundam in Japan is closing? I found out recently and I was so upset that I could never like look at it very well as here. Oh. The pointless cavern submarine docks has never been used, was now been approached solely by a submarine of the Italian Navy. Of course I knew that was Italians been our allies. However, this was the first time I had seen anything from the military with my own eyes. There was Italian Navy doing here. Isn't Italy surrendered in 1933? Yeah, somebody knows history better than me. What's going on? It was the Kingdom of Italy that surrendered. However, the ones who couldn't accept the surrender formed a pro-German government called the RCI, so they couldn't continue fighting. The RCI? Italian Social Republic, also known as Cell Republic. Oh, it is real thing. Is this... Is this what the movie is about? You know what I'm talking about? The movie by Pasolini? Oh, Pasolini was Italian too! Cell Republic. Yo. History is exciting. Oh, it is what the movie was about. Really? I should watch this movie. But isn't it like Ireland? Directed and co-written by Pasolini, the film is a Ludwig adaptation of a novel, 120 Days of Sodom by Marquis de Sade. Oh, really? Updating the story setting to the World War II era, it was Pasolini's final film released 3 weeks after his murder. Pasolini was murdered? Whoa. Okay, this is cool. The film focuses on 4 wealthy, corrupt Italian libertines for the time of the fascist Republic of Salo. The libertines kidnapped 18 teenagers and subject them of amounts of extreme violence. Okay. That's why we... What? The story in the first segment is inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy, the... The Inferno, the Circle of Mines, the Circle of Shit, the Circle of Blood. The film also contains frequent references and several discussions of Friedrich Nietzsche's book on the genealogy of morality, as expounded poem The Cantelos, Marcel Proust's novel sequence In Search of Lost Time. Whoa! Jesus Christ! Fuck, you know, sometimes you wanna watch artsy movies, but then you know that it's gonna be really bad with all the violent shit in it. I hope it gets displayed somewhere else. It may not move again though. It can move, that's the main thing, since there are like 3 others. 1 to 1 scale Gundam, 2 in Japan and 1 in China, I think. Ooh. Holy shit. I should watch this movie, and I should read The Divine Comedy. I wanted to buy a book, but the last time I was in a shop, they didn't have the book. Maybe they have it this time. Okay, sorry, no yapping. The Italian Socialist Republic, also known as the Salo Republic. You know your history. The ignorant often call the Italian crowd, saying that they surrendered first in the Axis power in 1933. So many things to read and watch. True. That's not true. The military of the Italian Social Republic fought bravely from the outbreak of war in April 29, 1945. And Berlin fell just 3 days after that. Far from being cowards, they gave one hell of a fight. Still, I'm surprised that the RCI Navy ever had the possession of submarine that could travel all the way to Japan. Even if they did, it's a surprise that they come out this far at all. Why would they come to Japan, to Rokajima? The submarine was both weather-worn and massive. The docks had never even been used by one of our own country's submarines. I doubt anyone here imagined it would end up welcoming in form of far-off nation. All the guards of Rokajima, which were here only about 30, stood at attention of a submarine docket. Never seen the Italian military before. I heard a mine or some kind of accident trashed their sub. From what I've heard, their ventilation system was hit and they couldn't stop the cabin filling up the chlorine gas. So the turn was hearing about here being something very important here. You mean like a code machine or a blueprint for some new kind of engine? I couldn't care less what they're carrying. I'm more surprised that the higher-ups still remember we exist. Move it, Tushinomiya. Like, look at the state of this base. Why is it so bad? It's as if it was built 10 years ago and not like 5 or 4. How are you supposed to interpret from the hour here? Yes, sir. On top of the hatch was a young Italian saluting us. Normally that should have been a job of a commissioner officer, but his clothes looked like those of a sailor. And it really didn't look like he had the dignity and composure of a ship's captain. That probably meant that all of the commissioned officers in charge had died in the accident that had befallen the sub. Crew members crawled out of the hatch one by one, but they all looked pale and entirely worn out. I wasn't sure how long the accident had happened, but being crammed together in a tiny sub filled with chlorine gas for any amount of time can be good for your health. Adding to the problem of a broken ventilation system was the fact that they couldn't afford to travel about carelessly on the surface of waters around Japan right now. They had essentially traveled here inside a can of poison gas. What? Jesus fuck, this is brutal. Almost all of them were unable to walk without leaving on someone else. It looked like a bunch of people staggering out of a hospital boat. Ushiramiya, ask them who the captain is. Tell them that I'm in charge of this island. Welcome to Japan. Do you speak any English? The crew members seemed to understand what I was speaking in English, but it looked as though none of them could speak it. Eventually, someone who seemed to be dressed as an officer saluted. Why did they have Beatrice here? Welcome to Japan. Are you the captain? I cannot speak English. Please wait. The officer answered in slow, laborious English. After asking us for wait, he shouted something to his subordinates in rapid Italian. It looked as though he was telling them to get someone among them who could speak English. Oshiramiya, what are they talking about? They asked us to wait. They might be looking for someone here who can speak English. Piato, 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 piato. At this moment, I heard a high-pitched cough. It wasn't a man's cough. It was woman's. She's here, she's here. I speak English. As she came down from the hatch, a woman with beautiful golden hair said this in English. It was filthy cavern. The appearance of one as beautiful as she was seemed like an angel descending upon us. Oh, she looks so different in this cute dress. Cute small little dress. And the scarf? Yo. Welcome to Japan. Is Captain here? Captain is dead. The man over here is the only officers left. My condolences. Can we do anything to assist you? Well, we would like some fresh air and water. Some of us are still having trouble breathing. We'd like a place to rest. We should be happy to help. Do any of other understand English? There was someone who did, but they all died. I'm the only one now. Alright, I spoiled myself on this too, only now I did remember. Well, it wasn't spoiler if you forget it, right? Oshiramiya, what's that woman talking about? Who's the captain? That man from a second ago? Who was this woman? Let's see some translating, damn it. The lieutenant wouldn't shut up. He must have been surprised to see such a beautiful woman appear from the submarine, and more than a little annoyed to see all of your attention focused on me alone. It was a mark of how divinely beautiful she was. Sir, it seems she is the only one who understands English. She will act as their interpreter. Their captain is dead. That officer seems to be acting in his place. Who's that loud man who keeps yelling at you? Don't tell me he's your superior. Yes, unfortunately. He probably doesn't like seeing me such a beautiful lady as to yourself. Damn, just shit-talking him in the language he doesn't know. So true. I mean, not true at all, but... that's like something you fear. When you hear people talk in a language you doesn't understand. Oh, are they talking shit about me? Yeah, then now they do. Now they definitely do. I didn't expect such a flattery from a nation. The classic. Your English is superb. I imagine you've been brought up very well, unlike the rude man who keeps on shouting. They should have made you the officer in charge around here. Oh, she's a bitch a little bit. That's him. That's our Beato for sure. Oh, I didn't expect such a flattery from a Westerner. Giggle? You're an interesting man. What's your name? Shiremiya Kinzo. If you don't mind, may I ask for your name as well? Beatrice Castiglioni. Hold on. We should Google what's the real Beatrice's name. What is this? What is this article that I was reading? Oh, it's Pasolini article. New Wikipedia. She was not... did not have the same surname, right? Beatrice Indante. Beatrice. Cool. It's better to go for Divine Comedy. Dante, blah 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 blah. Okay, F3. Virgil Beatrice, click. Beatrice de Folco Portinari. Okay, it is different. She's not 100% the reference. Okay. I mean, I know she isn't, but I was just curious. Beatrice Castiglioni. Welcome, Beatrice. Welcome to Japan. Yo. legendary, and that's how they made history. That's what it was when they first made Beatrice, the woman who would capture my heart for the rest of my life. So Beatrice was an Italian. I mean, now it makes sense. Yeah, she was the daughter of a high-ranking RCI officer. Apparently their most important cargo was her father himself. Sadly, he had already died before the time they reached Rakejima. Why would a high official like that come to Japan? You're saying that he went through the Suez Canal and crossed the Indian Ocean to come all the way here? That's a good point, it is. If they wanted to reach out one of their allies, Germany should be much closer. So why would they make such a long trip to Japan? Oops. It may have been part of some grand, outrageous strategy. I don't know all the details, but shortly after, I learned that their submarine's mission was far from a minor one. They said that there had been about 60 of them at the time of their departure. However, only about 10 of them, including Beatrice, had survived. Their submarine had apparently hit a mine or something in the nearby waters and sustained a great deal of damage. They told us that it had flooded rapidly with water, which had taken out the batteries and released a large amount of chlorine gas. Their sub had become completely incapable of counting further, nothing but a massive lump of metal floating in a dock. Since the sub seemed to be carrying something of immense value, the higher-ups ordered us to investigate. After questioning the Italians, with Beatrice and me acting as double interpreters, we concluded that this thing of immense value must have been her father himself. Apparently Beatrice's father was extremely high up in the RCI hierarchy, and it was thought that he might have worked alongside the Italian Prime Minister himself. Though their massive voyage had apparently been a part of some top-secret mission, now that the man himself was all of the commissioned officer had died, the reason for coming to Japan remained a mystery. And since the higher-ups were telling us to investigate, that meant that even they didn't know what it was. Oh no, it's going to be the closed submarine mystery, the next level of Umineko's submarine murder mystery. There's probably someone out here somewhere. That's a cool concept. Their ship had broken down, their mission was unknown, and a high official they had called carrying was dead. And even the Japanese government didn't know why they were here. The Italians' great and imperial's voyage had come to meaningless and utterly fruitless end. That's a relief. I always assumed the Japanese ocean air would smell like a soy sauce. Beato? Okay. What a coincidence. Elvis saw it. Italian had hair made of pasta. Cool guys. Of course we do. You don't know how hard it is to get the perfect al dente texture. I imagine you Japanese all wear spaghetti as al nero. Oh, you know quite a lot, I see. In Japan, we like to use squid ink instead of shampoo. Said the guy with the white hair. Giggle? You really are amazing, Kinsa. It seems you know everything. Have you ever been to Italy? Never. I have read a lot of your books, though. An Asian man reading Italian books. Whoa, what kind of books? Niccolo Machiavelli, of course you did, Kinzo, of course you did, such a character answer. And Dante Alighieri, yeah, sure. So of course I know you are the eternal lady. Oh, what a surprise, you must be quite the bookworm. Does it mean you came from some Japanese noble family? Who knows? You're completely different from those other savage-looking Japanese soldiers. I can tell! You must come from a noble family. And they consider me as some sort of Japanese aristocrats? Of course not. They just managed to strike it rich in a spinning industry in recent generations. I didn't... What about the gold? Is gold on a submarine? And you just concealing it very good? What? Of course not, they just managed to start get rich in the spinning industry in recent generations. I didn't study to prepare myself for nobility or anything like that. I just wasn't allowed to do anything here. Reading books, playing around the roses, and getting myself drunk were the only ways I had to occupy myself, he's literally me. Beatrice hadn't asked that question out of malice. It had just been a curious question asked to a friend from a faraway country. However, Beatrice was from a noble family herself, so she could tell. She could see the faint, gloomy look on Kinzo's face. Forgive me, Kinzo. I was so surprised that a high-ranked person like you would be a simple soldier in a place like this that I didn't stop to think about why. I didn't really care about my family line. The name of Shiremiya will mean nothing when I'm dead, and that will be what has finally set me free. So you joined the army because you wanted to die? You mustn't do that. Your family would be so sad. She doesn't know. Family? I have no family. I have a wife for the sake of public appearances and children. However, I've never wanted any of them. Everything is a fleeting daydream created by selfish, greedy old men. So, at least being stuck on this island, I can forget about all of that and find some peace. Peace? But haven't I spent each and every day complaining that I wasn't sent to the front and haven't managed to die yet? I can understand the pain you're going through, but I do realize that my thoughtless words have hurt you. Forgive me, Kinzo. Forgive me, Kinzo. Oh, those words. I think they set me free. All of the Japanese people call me Oshiramiya. Every time I hear it, it's a constant reminder that I'm the property of the Oshiramiya family. But she's different. She calls me Kinzo, not Oshiramiya. So maybe, just for a time I chat with her like this, I can forget that cursed family. Kinzo. I hadn't meant to make Beatrice feel guilty, but she seemed certain that her thoughtless words had hurt me. Thank you. Huh? You calling me Kinzo makes me feel like I can finally be my own man. I think that I finally met a person who truly sees me for who I am. Kinzo, you may be a foreigner I met a distant land, but I know your heart is very sensitive and beautiful. If I'd grown up in the same neighborhood, I'm sure we'd have become a quick friends. I'm happy too. You'll always call me Beatrice, not the daughter of a Castiglione family. Your feelings for her are not real. Kinzo's are real for me! And Omina could be gone. They were both in the same position. Her Castiglione family must have been a rigid place as well. Though we came from different countries, we had finally found something we could truly understand about each other. Okay, I was skeptical about Beatrice's and Kinzo's relationship, but this is really nice. They have a nice relationship. I like it. Do you have a nickname that people close to your heart use? I mean, they're both kind of racist, so they're good with each other for this reason, I guess. So you have a nickname that people close to you use? No, they would just call me Kinzo. Well then, you should stop calling me Beatrice. All of my close friends used to call me Bisse. Bisse? 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 Bici? Bici? Bisse. I'd like you to call me that too. Nice. We have Beato, we have Ricci, we have Bisse. Whoa! How far could it go? Name for every Beatrice. We have Beatrice, full name. Very well. From this point onwards, I will call you Bisse as a sign of our friendship. Is it really called Bisse? Should we test it? I mean, it's in Japanese syllables, Bisse.
じゃあ、あなたは私をベア
She's so
トリ
cute.
ーチェと呼ぶのを改めるべきだわ。親しい人間は私のことをビーチェと呼んでいた。
Oh, she's
あな
Biche.
たもそうしてくれると嬉しいわ。
Biche. Okay, I go for Biche. Biche is okay. Kinda. Damn, can't believe this chapter called Solar Republic. Jesus. Come on. You can't talk all stuff like this. We are friends now, okay? A bright smile stretched across Beatrice's face. No matter how many decades pass, that smile will never fade from my memory. So, by meeting Beatrice, you managed to regain the sense of self. Or, as most people would put it, he cheated on his wife. Oh, I mean, Will, right? Stop silencing him! If you plan to continue being rude, I suggest you get in the habit of covering your butt. Please stop. Please, I'm begging you to stop. Please stop. After having his butt pinched once more, Will hopped around in pathetic agony. That's how Butler and boobs, Jesus. So, in your eyes, grandfather, Rikujima was always special for being the place you first met Beatrice. If I had never come to this island, I would never have met her. It truly was an island of miracles. Is there anything left on this submarine base today? Yeah, it's still here, close to Coelesti. It is a shadow of a cove that can be seen from the outside. After all, fishermen never approached it supposedly ill-omened island. It's unlikely that anyone besides me still know of its existence. Are we gonna go here? We should! It's a 2-kilometer long underground passage between Coelesti and the mentioned element of the base. It does put into question the fact that Beato married his lover's grandchildren. It's not too much of a problem, since the flip-flop between real Beato, Beato 1-2, and Beato Reborn. Beato 1-2. Beato 1 of 2, this is nice. This is great, Beato name. I mean, she's not real. So, it's probably okay-ish. Beato 1-2. It's a 2-kilometer long underground passage between Coelesti and the mansion, remnant of the base? That is correct. There is some nonsense about craving a network of tunnels out of the limestone caverns, which would connect a number of bunkers across the island. I made use of those tunnels and had 2 mansions built, one at each end of the island. Ooh! Okay, so it does make sense. That's smart. But I mean, it would be dumb if you know about all of this and you wouldn't use it. So, this is supposed to somehow play into murder mystery shit. For sure. 2 mansions, 2 families. The Shinomiya family mansion and the mansion for Kinzo, released from the shackles of the Shinomiya family. Correct. It was something I needed. A place for me to escape from the cursed name of Shinomiya. Now he went silent. Still, I do feel bad for you. It must be awful to have come all the way out here and been unable to fulfill your mission. I didn't really know what Papa's plan was. He said that he needed to run far away to hide it until the time came. And what was it? I don't know. It was something important. And he planned to hide it for many years until the right moment. Gold. Oh, and he planned for us to remain hidden alone with it. I know because he apologized to me that it might be splendid spending a very long time on a foreign soil. Didn't Asen Angelo say that you had no cargo in particular? Ensign? Oh. They're not here now, but... Oh, he's from there. From Eastern Jungfrau? From wherever the fuck that was, right? Is, little girls connected to this? I mean... How's your name? Is Lenore connected to this? She's German, for sure. Virgilia! No, God. and that you were transporting your father instead? Wrong voice. The ancient ensign doesn't trust you or the others. Even I know a few things. Fuck, I should... Sorry. Even I know a few things he's kept hidden from you. He might have even known what Papa's goal was and what the cargo is. Whatever it is, that's a mission for the Italian military. It has nothing to do with us. In fact, even that we are allies will be willing to help if only they asked. I have no doubt that you're a good person, Kinza. I ever told Ensign Angelo that you're a man we can trust, but why is it that men always get so rigid and uptight when they're in a strange land? Normally, they are all very bright and cheery people. Even since we came here, they've been this strange feeling of tension. Ensign Angelo has ordered that his subordinates be armed at all times. It's almost as though we're in enemy territory. Is everybody know except for Beatrice? It was true. The Italians were clearly the very opposite of relaxed. The Japanese soldiers watching this began to suspect that the Italians didn't really trust them at all. That's normal for a soldier. This is precisely the time for them to straighten up their guard so they don't embarrass themselves. I'm eating words. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. So they don't embarrass themselves in front of a friendly army. They have a person stand watch every time they sleep, and they're still keeping a lookout to make sure none of you approach the submarine, even though it's nothing more than an unusable scrap heap now. Oh, there's gold for sure. It almost feels like as though they're acting openly hostile towards the Japanese, and that bothers me. Racism? True, they had set up a constant sentry by the submarine and had refused to let any of the Japanese soldiers come near. This hadn't made the Japanese particularly happy. However, submarines are treated as classified in all countries. Maybe it was just natural for them to stop foreigners from approaching it without reason. They're probably uncomfortable with being made to live in a way they aren't used to. That boat which is supposed to take you back to the mainland is still being delayed by the weather and problems up at the command chair. Just how long will it take before they can send you here? We had been told that the boat was being sent from them directly from the mainland, but apparently, thanks to the weather, problems up the command chain, and the recent air raids, there were no ships to spare for a forgotten land like this. There might have been some sort of diplomatic problem. After all, their homeland was already surrendered to the Allies. I didn't know the details. The only thing I knew for sure was that they had been stuck in Rokijima for a whole 2 weeks and no one had come to get them. Of course, we had some small boats in Rokijima. There was nothing physically stopping us from taking them to a nearby island. Still, Rokijima was technically a top-secret base, and contact with the outside world had been strictly forbidden. Well, nothing we can do about it. That isn't all that bad, really. After all, if the boat did come from us, I'd probably never see you again, Kinzo. Uh-oh, true. True. To me, those 2 weeks were the first I've ever truly lived. The faint 20 years before all seemed to vanish in the sparkle of those 2 weeks. I realized that she would have to leave this place eventually. And yet, this one moment felt so rich and dazzling that I felt myself wishing it could last forever. Then I heard a voice calling for Beatrice in Italian. It's Ensign Angelo. Looked like he wants you for something. Probably just called me. These days he kept yapping on about how I shouldn't get too friendly with Japanese soldiers. The ensign approached, saluting Kenzo, and after glancing at Beatrice as though asking her to translate something, he began to speak in Italian. Judging by his tone, it sounded like something serious. Ensign Angelo had sometimes something very important to say, so he wants to talk with your commander officer. He seeks assistance with something. I don't know what. Something important? Got it. I'll go find Lieutenant Yamamoto. Ensign Angelo had 2 of his subordinates with him and wore a stern expression on his face. They didn't have to say anything for us to realize that this must be something very serious. That's it! Lift it up! The winch creaked and the thick chains ran out with a dull clang. Very, very slowly. It was lifted up one of the submarine's cargo holds. Now I get it. So this is why Dositella didn't want us near their top. The lieutenant and the others looked up at what the winch was slowly lifting up. All of them wearing unpleasant, forced smiles. Gold, gold, gold. Unbelievable! So this is what Papa brought all this way? Incredible. I've never seen anything like this. Yes! 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 It was a mountain of golden ingots. Those carefully piled bars were being slowly lifted out of the cargo hold, one group after the other. This gold has been their true cargo. We knew it. How the fuck kids are gonna get it? Are they... How the fuck nobody learned about this? I mean, it's technically probably belongs to Beata, right? Unless your father stole all of this, which could be it. What do you mean? They have said that they were carrying it, you know, from Tom King? You mean Stephen King? Who the fuck is Tom King? No, it wasn't worth it doing a joke. Too late, I already dropped it, including this. Who the fuck is Tom King? Who the hell is Steve Jobs? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Ouch. I can see... Okay. What? 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 Who the hell is Tom King? It's Stephen King, no? Oh well. Sorry. I don't know, they were planning to take it. They might have been trying to sneak it into Japan, one of their allies. Or they might have been on their way to hide it in some remote area. Was it some sort of strategy? A conspiracy? Embezzlement? A conspiracy? Top secret transportation of wealth? This incomprehensible amount of gold led to all sorts of dark suspicions, but we didn't know anything about the truth. How? Kinzo and Beato gonna kill everybody? What's gonna happen? All told, the gold weighed an incredible 10 tons. That's the only truth we could wrap our minds around at the moment. They had strongly resisted showing this to us. However, the submarine could no longer make sea and was apparently commencing to take in waters bit by bit. Rokujima has been outwitted. Comic Batman nerd in my mind took over for a bit and confused Tom King and Stephen King. What Tom King wrote? Tom King... Batman? Oh, it's some modern Batman. Ooh. Okay, sorry. Rokujima had been outwitted in an extremely slight hot way, so he had no means of repairing it. Also, while we could unload the sub, there was no way we could lift it up again once it had filled with water to sink to the bottom. It was clear that unless action was taken, the gold would soon become completely impossible to transport, and so they had made a decision to upload it. Of course, they made no efforts to explain their reasons for all this gold. They just asked us to help them take it out. Why would they take so much gold out of the country? Robbery! Couldn't they have changed the course of the war with this much wealth? He doesn't know, he doesn't know, he doesn't know. Weapons change the course of war, but after the war they aren't useful for anything. Money may also change the course, but it remains just as valuable after the war. She's right, she's right. There was no longer any way to change the course of this war. The Axis powers would probably all surrender, leading to an Allied victory. Anyone could tell this simply by looking at the American planes flying across the sky day after day. However, gold would still be valuable after the war was over. Everyone stared upwards, dumbfounded. A winch slowly lifted the dully sparking gold. Whoa, this chapter was so good compared to the other ones that we read. Should we go for like half an hour more? The witch who came from the sea. Uh-oh. Why does it look so abandoned? Okay, this room is... Oh, no. Light. Time to go. See ya.